It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. We've got Miriam Dwar from Engadget. We've got Matthew Ingram from GigaOM. The John C. Dvorak will talk about Microsoft Windows 8.1, the big build conference. What did we learn? A smartphone shootout between the two Google editions, HTC One, the Galaxy S4, and why is Brian Brushwood cooking with Paula Deen? It's all coming up next on Twit.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by the new Winamp for Android, featuring wireless sync and one-click iTunes import. Now with free daily music downloads and full-length CD listening parties. Download it for free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for Twit is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 412, recorded June 30th, 2013. Printed Pizza. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Jira, an Atlassian product. Jira is the product management solution for teams planning, building, and launching great products. To learn more about Jira and try it free for 30 days, visit Atlassian.com/twit. And by ShareFile from Citrix. Try ShareFile today for a 30-day free trial. Visit sharefile.com, click the radio microphone, and enter Twit. And by Audible.com. Sign up for the Platinum plan, and you'll get 2 free books. Go to audible.com/twit2, and don't forget to follow Audible on Twitter. User ID audible_com. And by Sumall. Easily connect your data from Google, Twitter, YouTube, PayPal, Amazon, Facebook, and more to gain important insights instantly, all in one beautiful interface. Start using it completely free today at sumall.com. It's time for Twit This Week in Tech, the show that takes a look at all the great tech news of the week and breaks it down, analyzes it, chews it up, spits it out, and you've got it like a little tiny bird. We've regurgitated the news into your mouth, and you can now fly off happy.
That's the way I see it.
That's John C. Dvorak over here to my right. OMG. Nice to see you again, John. Has been a while. Was glad to have you back.
Good to be here, Leo.
Also from GigaOM and points north in his cabin by the lake, Matthew Ingram. Good to have you. The curmudgeon, actually. You're now going to earn a title as a curmudgeon because of we'll talk about it.
What? I'm not a curmudgeon.
I don't want video in my Instagram, says Matthew Ingram.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Also here, a first-timer from Engadget, in charge of mobile devices at Engadget. I don't know if you're in charge.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm in charge.
Responsible for.
I don't really know what I'm in charge of.
Miriam Dwar. Great to have you, Miriam.
Hi, thanks for having me, Leo. That's
First
great.
time, you've been on Twit before on TNT, but first time on The Big Shoe, so thank you.
That's correct. Thanks for having me.
I ran into Miriam at Google I.O., and she said, I want to be on Twit. And I said, okay.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Look how fast that happened. Do you see what I got here? Now, this is actually a callback to last week's Twit. Some anonymous person sent me 2, not 1, but 2 copies of the E.T. game cartridge from Atari, widely agreed. Film Girl agreed the worst video game of all time.
All right.
And in fact, so bad Atari had to write it in 5 weeks because they wanted to coincide with the release of the movie E.T. and they had very little time.
Yeah.
So it was bad in that respect. In fact, so bad that it's rumored, it's legend that Microsoft plowed it under in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Microsoft? Or you mean Atari?
Did I say Microsoft? Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've heard about these. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's been plowed under. People dig them up every once in a while.
Well, there's a Canadian film crew which just got permission from the city of Alamogordo to, in honor of the 30th anniversary of the game, to dig it up to see if it really is there, because no one knows if it's an urban legend or.
It probably is.
You don't think it was?
Like Owens Vault or something.
Exactly.
No, they throw stuff in. I was involved with the opera. Well, I wasn't involved with it, but I knew about this. There was a bunch of B&G wine in the 70s that was thrown into tons of it.
Because it was so bad?
No, there was too much in the market, and they wanted to.
Oh,
it's like
price was being depressed.
Yeah, it was like Roosevelt when he dumped the milk.
I didn't hear about that one either. Were you around for that?
Yes, I was, as a matter of fact.
I missed that
I
one.
was against it.
Or the T in the harbor. Were you around for that too, John?
T in the harbor, he was definitely there for. He
Yeah, I
was
was
the one
just
in
a
the
kid,
Indian
though. I was a little
suit.
kid, little
yeah.
kid.
No, I guess the reasoning for this was Atari was already having trouble with the quality of video games. They were letting third parties make video games. And,
Oh, no.
And the quality was so bad, and they said, we cannot let this one out. And so they buried them.
So you
Anyway.
have two of the few copies left?
I
still in the
can't. They're selling for $260 on eBay. I don't know whoever.
What?
I don't because it's legendary.
I'm surprised it's not $2,600.
I wonder what I could get.
Oh, I like it.
It's very funny. Wonder what I can get for my book and disc of Apple Basic.
Was it buried in a landfill in Alamogordo?
It was never released.
Really? Oh,
You know,
Apple Basic.
Yeah, Apple Basic.
I had Apple Basic on my BBS.
Yeah.
This is a sad story. Microsoft, which of course kind of owned Basic, was really miffed that Apple wrote this beautiful Basic.
Seemed to be a good Basic at the
It
time.
was gorgeous. I had a copy. And the story, and you maybe can confirm it, the rumor goes that Microsoft went to Apple and paid him big bucks to suppress it.
That's not my understanding.
What happened?
My understanding is that they threatened them that they're not going to release Office or any other Microsoft products if they release
We'll
that.
pull out of the platform if you
Yeah.
release it. That may be more accurate.
Yeah, they're cheap. That makes more sense.
Because there was a not so good Basic for Macintosh that but Microsoft, had no taste at the time.
Well, what can I say?
I had a copy of that Mac Basic. It was amazing. We put a pirated copy up on my BBS.
Oh, you
for
did
many
that little
years.
that Apple II BBS that you used to run.
No, it was a Mac BBS.
I thought
in
it was an Apple. You had an
1986.
Apple II BBS.
No.
That you did.
No. Anyway, enough history. Let's talk about this week's tech news. Actually, Microsoft was in the tech news. I hope you saw Windows Weekly yesterday or Friday. We had Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley in because Build was in San Francisco, the big Microsoft developer conference, at which they released version 8.1 of Windows, a public beta.
Yeah, I have a
won't be out
copy.
till the fall. Be careful installing it because you have to reinstall everything if you.
I have a sandbox machine that I put all that stuff on.
Yeah, that's probably the good idea. Although you can, download it now. Some nice, definitely a step back and some improvements in the sense that you can boot to desktop now. That there is a window button, a start button, which doesn't open a start menu, puts you back into the tiled Metro start menu. But if you slide that up, you can configure it with a couple of presses of the button so that the start button puts you to what is close to a menu. Alex Gumpel showed us.
I should have probably
there it is. It
loaded
gives you
this
this
thing.
this list of apps instead of
doesn't look very good.
It's not what people want. No comment from any of you, huh?
I think
Oh, no,
Classic
I
Shell
was
is
just-
still the way to
Exactly. I was going to say Classic Shell solves all this. I don't really see what the point is of even bothering for Microsoft at this point, since they dug themselves into a hole in the first place.
You don't think they should try to get out of the hole?
Well, yeah, but they're obviously doing a half-assed job at it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
half-assed is nothing.
go. Yeah,
Right.
so
they're digging the wrong way.
exactly. Thank you, John.
They're going down.
I'm waiting on 8.2.
That's going to be the good one. They also built Skype in, so no Windows Messenger anymore, of course. But
Yeah.
Skype, which Microsoft has wanted people to use as their default messenger, is now part of all installs of Windows. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's not that interesting.
Apparently not. God, it's getting off.
You know, this is going right off the track right away.
Gee, was because I started off with ET. Should I have started something more current?
Well, you did. That was a little dated.
Man,
You can actually.
And I think
answer
everyone's
Skype.
jealous that you have these things because I don't know anyone
nobody's
who owns
jealous.
those.
I don't even have a 2600. I can't play it. Go ahead, Miriam.
I was just saying that I was at Build, and the keynote they showed how you could answer a Skype call now when you're basically on the lock screen of your Windows 8 machine.
Is it does Skype by default start up automatically when you start Windows?
I presume so.
I think you pull that.
You probably could turn that off. It's
I hope.
yeah.
always
I mean,
go-
I like you're all on Skype, and I like Skype, but I just feel like I don't know. Isn't this exactly what Microsoft got in trouble with in the last century for bundling Internet Explorer? I mean,
Well, what's their competition, though, Skype's?
there's lots of competition. It's not very well known compared to Skype. Just as
Like what? What's really a competition?
Uvu,
What? Excuse me?
Tango, Uvu. There's quite a few, especially on the mobile side.
Well, have you ever thought of using anything besides Skype for this show?
We've tried everything. WebRTC, Google's got a solution that is browser-based. Google
Tried
Hangouts. Yeah.
Yeah. You tried that?
There's competition. FaceTime from Apple. There's competition. It's just, I wonder if they're going to get in a little trouble. Well, you said so what about Internet Explorer in 1998, too,
I never
right?
did that.
It didn't bother you that Microsoft bundled the browser?
It doesn't bother me that Microsoft bundles anything. It's their business.
But that's the point. The
that's what
Department of Justice got them they got a lot of trouble.
They were abusing the privilege. That's the problem. They were going to schools and forcing them to use, Internet Explorer. They were abusing their monopoly position. That's why they got in trouble. Not because they had it as a bundle. They were abusing it. They're abusive. Can I say that again?
I think you said it.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Story
How do they
number
like Windows 8 in Canada, Matthew?
Jeez.
I don't know anybody that uses it. I don't know anybody that was waiting
That's a
for
Canadian answer.
it. So,
I don't know, eh? Sucks.
Miriam, are you Canadian or you have a French accent?
So I have both citizenships from France and from Canada. And
Wow.
I'm married to an
Wow.
American. So,
that's
yeah.
as French as you can get.
Yeah.
So how do they like it in France?
I don't go
Maybe
back
we should
more
talk
than
about
every-
something else.
All right.
every
I'll
couple
drop
of years or so. I go back. I have
Nobody
no
cares
idea.
yet.
I
This is
certainly
how
don't use
pathetic
it.
that the Microsoft products have become. No, we can't even talk about them.
I'm trying to find it. So Miriam, you were at Build. Was there?
Yeah.
Tell me what else of interest happened at Build.
Well, for me, focusing on mobile, they launched a couple of new phones for Sprint. Sprint finally has Windows Phone devices. I mean, they're not on the market yet.
Big celebration. Big
They
celebration.
announced them, and they're bespoke to Sprint, which is interesting. They're evolutions of existing products. You have the HTC 8XT, which is an evolution of the HTC 8X. And then I think the Samsung Ativ Neo, I believe was called. It's like an evolution of the Ativ S. So, I mean, nothing too spectacular here or anything.
I liked the 8X a lot for a
The
Windows
8X
phone.
is fantastic.
For a
so they've added
Windows
the boom
phone.
sound, the dual speaker setup to
This looks a little like they took the HTC because it's got an aluminum unibody, right? It's kind of like they took a little bit from the HTC One.
I haven't seen it, and I don't think it's aluminum. I think it's still the same kind of polycarb soft
Okay.
touch finish.
But it does have the front-facing dual speakers.
Correct.
What's the latest in the BlackBerry technology?
The Q10 is out. Are you excited?
Woohoo!
Keyboards are here, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about time. I was wondering when someone's going to do that.
BlackBerry had a brief moment in the sun last week when some analyst said, get ready, BlackBerry's going to surprise you all with great quarterly results. And then the results came out.
And they tanked the stock.
It's almost worse than downplaying it and having a better result to say, oh no, it's good. You're going to be surprised. Oh no, you're not going to be surprised. It's terrible. What does BlackBerry do? Some have said maybe they should go in the server business and just forget phones entirely.
I think, you know what? I think that actually might not be a bad idea. I mean, it would be radical. It would be, but let's put it this way. They have a pretty good installed base inside companies running the Bez server. They have pretty good security. They have, although, they may or may not give the keys to China and
Right.
Turkey and whatever, but they still have that business. It's got to be worth something. They just don't seem to be getting anywhere trying to get people to use their phones.
God, it's so sad.
Yeah.
But I guess in one way, you could say this is the maturity of the tech industry is that giants like Microsoft and BlackBerry are not the giants they once were.
They're still giants in their old fields.
Yeah, but the fields are changing, right? So
Well, it's not. Is it really changing that much? Their sales are still going higher and higher.
not a BlackBerry.
No, Microsoft.
Microsoft.
BlackBerry was a phenomenon. It wasn't really a big giant company like Microsoft.
I guess you're right. Last day of Google Reader, you get everything out of it, everybody?
Yeah, get your stuff moved off.
Yeah.
I haven't used Google Reader for about 2 years.
Good man.
Same here, really.
Somebody must use it because there is this. They killed Google Reader.
500,000 people.
Is that all?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that was the
that's
number.
not a big.
That's why
business.
they killed it.
Yeah.
It was a big business for me.
The 500,000 were mostly tech journalists, which is why it
Pretty
was a
much.
story at all, right?
Maybe it could be. You might be right. 'cause
Normal people didn't use it.
No.
So
People don't even know what RSS is.
I agree with you.
if you happen to be one of the 500,000, probably half of those people listen to Twit, though. You got to understand. I mean, that's the same. It's
You can tell that most of them in the chat room.
They're here. They're in the audience of the chat. So of them, there are a couple of places you can go. You can AOL. AOL has a nice reader.
Feedly is pretty good.
The Dig one just came out like the last possible minute. I'm trying to go to dig.com right now. Here it is. I just went to dig.com.
Feedly.
Yeah, have you tried Feedly?
I like Dig a little
Good.
better than Feedly.
Huh.
Yeah, I like Dig too. They've done a nice job.
It's cleaner. It's more straightforward, and it looks. Let me just sign in. It looks more like Google Reader did. The import was very fast, very easy. It uses Google Reader's keystrokes like J and K and N and P and so forth. It shares right now. Sharing is kind of limited, Facebook and Twitter. But see how doesn't that look a little bit like Google Reader with just kind of more modern typography?
You can also drag and drop into different categories, which is a nice touch.
Bin sorting.
Feedly is a little too glitzy for me.
Is that it there?
Bin sorting.
Yeah, that's what you do.
BlackBerry
It's
shares
called bin
dive out.
sorting.
Oh yeah, were you? No, that's for chips.
For anything.
Anything.
Back in the day, they called it bin sorting.
Bin sorting.
Yeah.
BlackBerry shares dive after a loss.
Century.
U.S. man gets $20,000 Facebook payout.
For what?
I'm going to talk about Facebook because I'm a little miffed.
Good for you. It's
I'm
about
a
time.
little miffed.
You quit the service once before, and then you came back to it.
I want to quit Facebook so bad right now.
Just quit.
I can't.
Why?
You can't
I'll
quit.
tell you in a second. I'm going to take a break and I'll tell you why. But I think everybody listening to this show, everybody in this studio audience, everybody in the chat room should immediately go to Facebook and delete their account.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why in a second. They've
Whoa, a teaser.
they've gone too far.
A teaser.
And it's not
Controversial.
video and Instagram, although Matthew Ingram really is upset. Stop putting video in my Instagram.
Kids, get off my lawn.
It was very grumpy of you.
He's shaking his head.
No, he brought up a whole post on like, get that video out of my Instagram.
I was having a bad day.
Were you? Are you
No.
are you feeling better about it now?
No, not really.
No.
No, I still feel the same.
You know what's interesting?
It's a waste of time.
And maybe it's the people I follow, but I don't see a lot of video on my Instagram.
I saw a ton when they first launched it.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to do it.
Everybody
You know,
did
so
it
here's
once,
my cat, here's
Right.
my daughter, here's my food.
and people have gone
It
back.
has declined.
Yeah.
Definitely declined.
So now it's like
Which is
just a
good.
minor. And you can set it so that it doesn't autoplay.
Yeah, the autoplay was super irritating.
Yeah.
You'll be proud
I
of me,
think
Matthew,
Instagram's irritating.
because I have not made a single Instagram video yet.
I made
have
one.
not either.
I made
I have not
one
either.
just to annoy Matthew.
I was tempted, some ducks came up onto the beach the other morning and they were super cute. And I was like, this would make a good Instagram video, but I talked myself out of it.
That's how it happens.
I know. It's
Starts
like,
with the ducks.
And then it goes to kittens.
Uh-oh.
pretty soon, it's your dinner, and then it's all downhill from there.
All right, we're going to continue with the Pride Weekend edition of This Week in Tech in just a moment, and I will tell you why Facebook is not the place to be anymore.
It never was.
Anymore. But first, a brand new sponsor.
Live Journal. That's where you should have been. Should have stayed.
I had a live journal.
I bet you did.
I put all
did.
my girlish thoughts there, my hopes, my fears. I wrote my name, Mrs. John C. Dvorak, over and over and over. But first, a word from Jira. Did you know that Jira, I just found this out. Jira it's an Atlassian product, enterprise product for ticket management, but it was named after Godzilla because the Japanese name for Godzilla is what? Gojira. Gojira.
Did somebody really convince you of this?
It says it on Wikipedia. That means it's true.
It must be true.
Gots to be
It's
true.
Totally true.
Are there any Japanese people in the studio today? How do you say Godzilla in Japanese? Chat room? Gojira, right?
Chat room says Gojira.
Yeah. A guy named Dendrite says, "Hi." So it must
Chat
be true.
room is almost as right as Wikipedia.
So Atlassian, you probably know about it. In fact, there's a guy right in the front row here who uses Jira, and a lot of people in the chat room who use Jira. It's one of the world's most powerful and customizable issue and project management systems. Captures and organizes your workflow so you can prioritize and take action on what's important while staying up to date with the activities going on around you. If you are managing a team, managing a product, if you've got software out there, you need to know about Jira. You can try it free for 30 days, and I'll tell you how you do that in a second. Capture, organize, prioritize team issues, tasks, features, bugs. You can get notifications via email, chat, app mentions, RSS, monitor streams of activity, or self-updating reports and dashboards. You're always in the know. It supports REST API. It has a REST API. So that means you can extend it yourself. If your issue involves code, Jira ties everything together from an initial planning doc right through the files and change sets in your code repository all the way to deployment. Supports Subversion, Git, all the code management version software, Subversion, all of them. Here's the deal. Try it today. 30 days free. Join over 20,000 companies, including 70% of the Fortune 100 and even NASA. Visit Atlassian.com/twit. ATLASSIAN.com/twit for more information on Jira. Monthly plans start at $10 a month for up to 10 users, so it's very affordable, but it scales all the way up to 100,000 seat enterprise. I mean, it is for any size. Try it free for 30 days. Atlassian.com/twit. Select Jira, Jira, for your 30-day free trial. You must have heard about this with Facebook, that these shadow profiles. So first of all, Facebook is has a horrendous leak, which apparently has been around for a while, and they now say it's as many as 6 million people have been affected by this. Now, admittedly, Facebook's got 1 billion users, so that's not that big. A big percentage. But if it's you, you might not like this, where somebody can download, their Facebook stuff. That button, download my Facebook information, and you will get a bunch of information about your friends and your friends of friends. Some of it information they didn't even submit to Facebook. Facebook calls this.
It's been going on for a while, though, hasn't it?
It's Facebook finally admitted it on Friday, but apparently it has been going on for years. These shadow profiles, Facebook has been collecting information from other sources about you. So even if you didn't, for instance, put in your home phone number in your Facebook profile, it would have it.
Yeah.
First it was the NSA, now it's Facebook?
Well, I mean, I'm more scared of the NSA, I guess, but I'm more offended by Facebook.
Yes.
It's when you use the Find Friends feature, and it would go and find people from your contact book, and they basically saved information about those people as well. So even if they didn't have a Facebook account.
So, obviously they're getting it somewhere, and they're getting it from your friends and about your friends from you, because when they download the contact list, they just save everything. This does not seem right to me. Has Facebook said they're not going to do it anymore?
That's Facebook.
My understanding was it was a bug, and someone reported it.
Yeah, it's a bug. The bug was that when you download your stuff, you were getting other people's stuff. The shadow profiles are not a bug. It is Facebook trying to find out as much about everybody as they can, whether you gave permission or not.
And Facebook has talked about this before, the shadow profiles, and their argument was, let's say you eventually wanted to join Facebook, then when you created an account, they'd have all this information about you, and that would help you. So it's not a bug, it's a feature.
The justification is we're getting ready for you to join Facebook.
Which you inevitably will.
If you haven't already.
How different is this from Google now looking at all this stuff and say, oh, he's a Giants fan?
But it's stuff that about me because I'm sharing it. That's different.
Yeah, but when you okay. But what? Okay,
isn't it?
Well, I don't like their auto tagging.
But you don't have to do that. Any of that. You can even use all of these Google features without participating. They give you explicit opt-out. Facebook doesn't even tell you it's doing this, and in fact, not only does it not tell you, it's not doing it about you, it's doing it about your friends. It's getting information from you, John,
it's the easiest
about
way
my
for the
home number.
Government to get a dossier without having to do any work whatsoever. Let Facebook do all the work, and then they can get they don't have to look anything up. What's Leo's number,
What's
Bill?
this have to do with the government?
NSA.
What's it? Facebook and the government?
Don't you think the NSA knows my phone number anyway?
I
The guy
wonder.
from Facebook.
All they have to do is to go to the phone company and say, buy that phone book that you publish, give us all the numbers and the ones that you don't publish. And they got it.
This is a fact.
That's easy.
Yeah, well, then get your
And we know
cell
that the
number.
phone companies bend over for the NSA.
As it were.
Yes.
They don't bend over for the customer.
Oh, don't even get me
Facebook-
started.
Well,
on
just quit Facebook and
Potentially
quit
everyone who has a
complaining.
Facebook account. So when I say find my friends, when I give Facebook permission,
I wonder if they fake. You know, I have a couple of bogus Facebook accounts that I didn't do that
What?
people have done for me. I wonder if they're putting a bunch of weird crap about me in those.
you'll never
profiles.
know because you don't Facebook
Probably.
number.
Well, probably you're right. I don't care. I don't.
Even if you never told Facebook your phone number, it might have a record of it as well as your email addresses, home addresses, other things that are in your friends' contact list. I gave this to
in
you
the olden days, you used to list your phone number anyway, so who cares?
because I'll tell you why. In my address book, I have the names of some very famous people
Yeah.
who
me.
who are very protective of their privacy.
Okay.
And Facebook apparently now has that information because I,
Probably.
without knowing it, gave Facebook permission to look at my contacts.
Well, it's not your fault.
it is my fault.
No, it's not your fault at all. It's Facebook's fault.
You did agree to it, though.
And you agreed to it.
Well,
you signed on the
I mean,
dotted
Facebook-
line.
Facebook's point is they told you about that when you signed up. They said, we're going to look at your contacts and get all kinds of information so we can suggest new friends to you, so you agreed to it. That's their argument.
Yeah.
But my understanding of that would be that they would have information about who I know in a database associated with me, but that wouldn't, well, I guess, so that means to you when they say that, and by the way, we're going to save everybody's phone numbers in that contact list.
You're speaking in riddles.
The thing
mean,
is, they're not giving you a lot of detail, right? They're saying, yes, we're going to do this, but I don't think the average user realizes what that means.
It
So
is,
that's why these shadow profiles are surprising.
Yeah.
They don't say, we're going to collect all the information on all your friends and put it in a secret file, and then we'll let people download it accidentally. Like,
in Europe, it might be illegal. It's probably legal in the U.S. It might be illegal because they have much stronger data protection laws in
yeah, in fact, I don't think you're allowed to collect information about third parties.
Yeah. And furthermore, because of a bug in Facebook for over a year, they've been giving that information out to somebody else. So not only are they collecting, in my opinion, over-collecting information, but they're also giving it to anybody, to other people.
Sure.
And the NSA.
This NSA meme is never going to go away.
No, because the NSA is never going to go away.
Well, we want them to listen to what we have to say, right?
Yeah, there's the only way you get more customers.
Come on, these
It's a
guys need to
huge
be entertained.
operation. If everybody in the NSA was listening to this show, you'd be on easy street.
How big is the
I
NSA?
think- I just think
I
the
don't know, it's
NSA.
big.
I just think the NSA needs to offer some kind of automated backup. I mean, if they've got all my email and voice, messages and whatnot,
That's
why
a
don't they
good
just
one.
sell me?
Right.
Sell me
Oh,
access
man,
to that.
my machine blew up.
People
Yeah.
make that joke, but seriously, if they did offer that as a feature, wouldn't people feel better about it?
I would.
Like,
Totally.
oh, okay.
I hate that off-site backup.
You're collecting everything, so, well, that's nice. That makes up for the fact that you've been
guaranteed by the
spying on me.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it would charge you, for a few gigabytes, but, it'd still be better than,
At least you'd get something for your tax money, right?
yeah, free backup.
You know that joking about this is the first step to accepting it.
I've long since accepted it.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Years ago.
did you really think they weren't doing this?
No, I thought they were.
Well,
doing
everybody, there's actually some good analysis. I'm not even going to, done. Not going to talk about it. I promise I wasn't going to talk about
it.
it.
No.
I'm
Is
talking
this-
about politics
Is this
on
one
this
of
show
those
is a
no
waste of
agenda? No, this is not. This is not politics. This is a technology story.
It is.
There's been some studies that show that the way people accept things is, it varies, and it's already been accepted. But the problem that they have is everyone kind of knew this was going on, but when somebody came out and proved it,
Right.
then it was like, oh my God! But they were just like, you already knew, but now somebody proved it, so now you're all upset.
We know, but we don't want to know.
So, see, back
Yeah,
to
that's
Matthew's
an element.
point. Back to Matthew's point. You accepted it the moment you pressed that button that said that it could look at your address book. Facebook.
Right. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, so
I
what are you
just didn't
bellyaching
think
about?
that they were storing
Those EULAs are nasty.
the numbers of the people that I know and cross-referencing that. I mean, I
Sure.
thought, oh, okay, that makes sense. What they're doing is they're making a database associated with Leo Laporte with all of my friends' email addresses, maybe phone numbers. That data is kind of segregated so that if that person joins Facebook, they can. I guess you're right. I guess I knew.
But you didn't know the details, right?
I
Because
think
they
it's
didn't
wrong,
spell it
too.
out.
I think it's wrong too, Leo. But like, I think that we're kidding ourselves if we didn't think that was a possibility.
Well, it makes me want to quit Facebook real quick. Yeah, but the irony of that is they still have all the data because they're not giving it up.
No.
They've already got all
You've
my
quit
information.
Facebook before. I don't understand why
I'll
you're
tell you
even
why I quit
on
Facebook. The last time I quit Facebook was when they changed their privacy policy so dramatically and so unexpectedly that it was clear that they couldn't care less, right? And so I said, in protest, I quit. And then a month later, I realized I have to be on Facebook if only to cover it. And frankly, it's a useful platform for reaching our audience and reaching my, I don't.
You have your blog. You've got all kinds of ways to reaching the audience. You have a camera on you, and you can reach the audience that way. You're talking to a microphone. I mean, how much more ways you want to reach the audience? I don't see it as anything
No, but
that
if you're a
valuable.
tech journalist, you have to have
No,
a
you don't.
Facebook account.
I'm a tech journalist. I don't have one.
Yeah, but you're
I
out of
don't-
touch.
I don't
You
know.
can't talk about Facebook.
I don't want to talk about Facebook.
Vern.
That's the only thing I can't.
was
I
Vern.
don't get is that I can't talk about Facebook. I can talk about Facebook. I'm talking about it now. Now that you mention it, I don't have to be on Facebook, wasting my time grinding away, seeing what
Oh,
all
I
my
don't do that.
lost friends have
I
done.
don't do
Since
that.
high school.
I don't
care.
visit Facebook.
Yeah. I'm done. That was my.
Are
rant.
you of the opinion, as they are in persons of interest, that Facebook was actually an
Oh, isn't that
arm
a
of-
great line in,
Yeah.
in persons
they,
of interest?
They invented social media so they could keep track of us.
It's easier. The police, I remember during the Echelon era, I had a radio show,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about Echelon. I had an FBI guy on the show. We're talking about it, and it always seemed to me ever since that interview that law enforcement at almost all levels, and I've worked in law enforcement actually, and when I was an air pollution inspector, are very lazy. They would love to not do any
Did you
work.
carry a gun?
No, I didn't carry a gun, but it's law enforcement.
John C. Dvorak,
We had to
pollution
give.
inspector.
We had to give.
I hear there's pollution here.
Lots of those fines were pretty nasty.
Is it? Do you? Are you
$10,000?
considered? Are you considered like a
But it was-
duly enrolled member of the law enforcement?
Nowadays,
community? No. But in the time, well, no, fishing game. I have a friend who's fishing game. He comes to poker
We
with
actually
his
had one
sidearm.
group of our guys that was armed.
Yeah.
They're the guys that pulled the trucks over.
Yeah,
You have to be armed, apparently.
sure. No, because you never know.
No, we were just going to Standard Oil and hanging out, which is you don't need a gun there.
Did they offer you money, cocaine, girls, anything?
That's funny you'd say that because apparently the New Jersey guy, we had a guy that
course it
came
was
over
New
from New
Jersey.
Jersey. He was one of our inspectors, and he said they do that in New Jersey.
Of course, in New Jersey.
Yeah, they were
course they
apparently
do.
it was all bribes. No offense to all you Jerseyites. But anyway, okay, I'm sorry I mentioned
so when
that.
You were
I'm trying
in
to
law
I'm trying-
enforcement. You
No.
understood the
Fascinating.
need to gather
No.
more
It's when
information.
I talked to the FBI guys, I realized that everybody in law enforcement is lazy. And they would love to have their work done for them by some social media.
I don't think that's fair. I think they
Well, you can
want.
say what you
they
want,
understand
but that's
their
what
job is driven by information. The more that they
Echelon,
have, the better they could do their job.
Lazy. The Clipper chip, lazy. Everything is like if they can just give us the cases and prove it so we don't have to get out of the office and we can hang around and just chat with each other, that would be much better than having to do some real police work.
Hey, I think that's just not fair to them. I really do. And I never was in law enforcement.
Were
But
the air quality enforcement officials lazy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That,
Are
of
you kidding
course.
me?
That's a given.
Just to be honest about it, I have stories. I mean, we spend most of our time shopping. It was great.
Confessions of an air pollution inspector. I want to. I
Shopping.
think
It's
you
just
should write-
shopping. There's
I
not
think
much
you
to write.
that.
Once an essay.
That's a
We're
reality. show
shopping
right
a lot.
there. I would watch that.
Yeah, me too.
And yet, you see these articles from. In fact, I just saw an article the other day that law enforcement's complaining about the fact that they can no longer tap everything; that everything is encrypted.
Aw.
Yeah, really. Of course, we know that if you encrypt, they say that is a.
You're a target now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are, you know, hey, we reserve the right to anybody who encrypts or uses Tor. We're
RSA
assume they're up to no good.
Yeah, well, the Tor thing probably has a back door, and we're pretty sure that some of the encryption, DES supposedly has a back door. the DES program, when I was at an RSA conference, they told me that the guys, the intelligence community took the code with them to chat about it and make sure it was something that could be useful. And then there's some new code was inserted, and nobody knows what it does.
Let's see, we're just showing the Wired threat level blog. There's an article in The Verge. Government wiretaps were foiled by encryption for the first time in 2012.
Now, somebody says in the chat room, "Oh no, the Tor network's an onion, so you can't do any. It's not,
It's open source. It's not does not have a backdoor.
But there's tricks to track you if you go through.
Maybe I wouldn't put it past those lazy pollution inspectors. God only knows.
You can write me all you want about this. I'm telling you, law enforcement is generally lazy.
Okay.
They'd rather not put a lot of effort in if they don't have to. And if you want to go turn yourself in and write a confession, they're pleased as punch. Don't call the lawyer.
Wiretap report 2012 Administrative Office of the Courts. Summary here. Encryption was reported for 15 wiretaps in 2012 and for 7 wiretaps conducted during previous year. And 4 of these, now this is interesting, in 4 out of the 15, officials were unable to decipher the plain text of the messages. So I'm getting a different thing from this. Yes, they failed 4 times. They succeeded 9 times in getting through the encryption. That's, to me, more telling.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, I think that headline, I think The Verge and the threat level blog are focusing on the wrong message here. Government wiretaps were foiled by encryption for the first time, but only 4 out of the 15 wiretaps. 9, no problem. We got right through that encryption. That didn't work so good.
Yeah, they
What the hell
took the
were they
wrong
using?
angle on the story.
A
It's
secret
very funny.
encoder key? I think they missed the point.
Yeah, the point is that they got most of it.
They got most of it.
And those other ones, if they went and took a second pass at it, they probably would have gotten half of them again.
Here, I guess this is the other point of it. In the 109 reported cases between 2000 and 2011 where they encountered encryption, they got it in every case. They got through 109 out of 109.
Yeah,
they were
that
able
makes
to
sense.
decrypt. So the reason that the story is this is the first time ever that 4 people foiled them. So this makes me think either people are misusing, they're not using encryption right, or really encryption isn't as effective as we've been given to believe.
There's some discussion along those lines. You know, I would remember before, was it TrueCrypt that's out? There used to be a thing called DriveCrypt.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
They had an encryption thing on there. There was one type of encryption. It was, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. And I always thought it was going to show up again. It disappeared, completely disappeared. And that was the encryption techniques used by the Swiss banks. And when I was at this RSA conference, they said the security people did not want Americans using this.
Because it's too good.
Apparently it worked. And then now it's completely gone. Maybe somebody in the chat room could remember this this type of encryption. It was called Snowbank or something like that.
We don't know. Unfortunately, this report is not very explicit, but I'm really curious as to why, A, they've broken 109 out of 109 up to now, and B, why only 4 out of the 15 from 2012, only 4 were unencryptable. Are people so misusing encryption that, are they saying, hey, well,
Well, there's a number of problems with encryption. One, if you're a smart agent, you could if you could insert a keylogger into anybody's system,
get the password,
then you're done.
And in fact, I remember the Secret Service saying, we don't worry so much about encryption. This was some years ago. This was maybe 2003. We don't worry so much about encryption because mostly the guys just give us the password. Most crooks, they go, yeah, here's the password. They don't fight it. That's what they told me. I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they had a thumb screw on them or something. Maybe.
I think that it's surprising how often crooks cooperate once they're actually in an interrogation room. And I don't think it requires torture. I think it requires a savvy interrogator. I know you've watched To Catch a Predator. Those guys always confess.
The Catch a Predator guys?
Yeah.
That my favorite was the guy that got caught twice.
Yeah.
Typically these guys are idiots. So there's some bonehead, and he's in the chat room and he chatted somebody up and he's going to go visit him. So, and he's cross-eyed, he can barely walk. He's, not the sharpest guy. And they bust the guy. And then the next week's show, there's
He's
the
back.
guy again with somebody else. This is a dumb show.
Anyway, you
you
watch this show and you see these guys melt. And it's not pressure.
Okay.
You got me. Sorry.
Well, you remember Matt Honan Remember Matt Honan at Wired and
Yeah.
all his passwords
Yeah, yeah.
and everything and that wasn't hacking at all. It was
That's
social
right. Social engineering.
hacking.
That's right. Yeah.
Social engineering. It's very rarely the encryption that saves you.
Right.
It's funny that nobody in the chat room came up with the name of this encryption scheme.
Snow job, somebody said, but
It's
I don't
not
know if
Snow
that's
Job.
true.
Like, if I
They
hear it, I
failed
know
your
what it
test,
is.
John. They failed your test.
Snow Job's a good name, though.
They're fired. That is good.
So new Prism
Switzerland,
slides,
right?
new Prism slides are
Yeah,
out. The Washington Post has them. You know, I'm a little miffed by the Guardian and Glenn Greenwald that they're dribbling these out. It's like, well, we got more. Stay tuned. Next week we'll show you some more slides.
Page hits.
It's good for
Yeah, I'm glad the Post publicized a few more.
yeah.
I'd like to see the whole deck.
Well, yeah,
Let's
why don't
see
they
the
just
whole
send the whole
deck.
thing?
Well, they said that
should
there,
pull- yeah.
there are reasons.
I'll tell you, the first thing I'm deducing from these slides is these guys don't know crap about designing PowerPoint slides.
No.
Look at
Wait,
this.
I know they're amateur.
Look
they're
at
horrible.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
I can't even. What the hell are they talking about?
Clearly, they're not working with Apple.
You know, we could take these slides and make
And
them
Linux.
beautiful.
They're not using Keynote.
Actually, I
No.
think there might be a reverse thing going on where they want them to look as ugly as possible, because then it doesn't look like they spent a whole lot of time
Right.
on them.
Right.
Then it looks like, oh, we just threw these together after we full day of
No, you're exactly
tracking
right.
encryption.
If you make them too beautiful, then the presumption probably correct.
Yeah, that's
I think who was it said this? I want to say Larry Ellison. Somebody said, when I see a beautiful PowerPoint presentation, I know there's an employee who's freaking wasting his time.
Yeah, that's a guy. That's from a guy making $96 million a year.
That's how you make the big bucks. You keep a tight lid on those employees.
and his PowerPoints look like hell.
Analyzing information. It might have been maybe. I think it was. It was
These slides have
maybe
they
Scott
released
McNeely.
totally? What are these slides?
Well, the first release was just 2 slides. These are new ones that came out yesterday.
Yeah, I wrote about them
Aren't
last
they
night.
just going to
So
keep
tell us about them, Matthew. 'Cause
dribbling these out?
that's really annoying to me. That is the worst kind of, in my opinion, link baiting. Is to
Now,
say
both the Post and the Guardian have said that they've not released some because they're concerned about national security.
All right.
So
That's
it's not
fair.
just that they're waiting. It's that some of
Okay.
them have presumably information that could jeopardize something.
and then somehow in a week later they've figured out they're okay and they're going to release them now. Some magical.
few of them, I guess.
They have them vetted by some magical princess who says, "Oh no, those are fine. Go ahead and release those."
The other thing that came up about after I wrote the post about the new Washington Post slides was a couple people pointed out all the interesting stuff is in the annotations
Yeah.
beside the slide, where Barton Gellman presumably interprets the slide.
Yep.
And this is based on, his reporting. But we don't have a whole lot so we have basically his annotation saying there's equipment on company premises. So
That's something that
kind of-
consistently Google, Facebook, Yahoo, everybody has denied. They say
Has
they do
denied.
not
So we've
have
got-
government access, does not have government access to our servers. Not according to these
Right.
slides.
And it all hinges on the interpretation of this term direct access.
Right.
So, but according to the annotations on this slide, the FBI is operating equipment that is on company premises, and then they take the data and they give it to the NSA or the CIA or whoever wants it, and it can include real-time monitoring of voice conversations, text, chat, and voice chat.
And this show.
Well, I'm sure they're listening. So this slide is interesting. Prism collection details. By the way, among the other annotations, the annotation of the Prism logo. The program's called Prism after the prisms used to split light, which is used to carry information on fiber optic cables. Steve Gibson nailed this. And the further release of slides shows that, in fact, as Steve believed, they were tapping upstream at the providers. They actually explicitly say, in fact, they call it upstreaming. Which means that they can get the data without the cooperation of Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, YouTube, Skype, AOL, and Apple.
And if you think about it, company premises could just refer to, to a server room somewhere at a co-location facility.
Right.
It doesn't have to mean
Right.
inside the Google.
Well, yeah, it could be direct access. Could mean over the or no direct access. Could mean over the internet.
We're just
too.
wiretapping their provider.
It could
That's
be a
what
lot of
Steve
different
said. And I think Steve's argument is that even though, of course, these national security letters and the Patriot Act kind of prevent Google, Microsoft, the others from saying anything, they wouldn't have, there's nothing requiring them to do these explicit denials. That these explicit denials, they could say, we're not going to talk about it, but these explicit denials,
Right.
which would be absolute lies, are...
And Google's chief
They're
counsel has
couched.
gone farther than anybody.
Yeah.
He did a Q&A with The Guardian, and he probably went farther than any of the other companies in specifically saying there's no direct access, there's no indirect access, there's no lockbox,
Right.
there's no Dropbox, there's no nothing. So that's, that just does not jibe with the description of this slide.
Yep. And yet there is upstreaming. They make a point, one of these slides, and this is for our international listeners, that most traffic ends up going through the U.S., even if it's not targeted to a
May
U.S.
East, May West, those
Yeah,
places.
most of the world's communications flow through the United States. A target's phone call, email, or chat will take the cheapest path, not the physically most direct path. Your target's communications could easily be flowing into and out of the United States. Good news. What are they getting from these providers? Email, chat, video, voice, videos, photos, stored data, VoIP, file transfers, video conferencing, notifications of target activity like logins, online social networking details, thank you, Facebook, and special requests.
In other words, everything.
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 We should,
Hard disks are cheap.
We should start engineering custom messages for them.
I think we should do as much obfuscation and disinformation as possible. I want
How
to
about voting out our congressmen that
and
put
vote
up with
them
this
out
crap?
too. Damn straight.
Damn straight.
Damn straight. It's very, very frustrating to me. Anyway, we know more, and it's as bad as we thought. It's not worse than we
See, I
thought.
think there is. But
Couldn't
I
be
think there's a
worse than we
certain
thought. We're at
fatalism.
max.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Well, I think there's a certain fatalism about, we sort of knew it was happening. Now all these details are coming out, and pretty much it's as bad as we imagined in our kind of worst imaginings. And so, then what?
Yeah.
The next day you have to get up and use your email and log into things. And I mean, what do you do?
By the way, if you want to compare and contrast, somebody in the chat room has sent me the slides from Apple's final argument in their ebook case. This is what slides should look like. Clean, crisp, the information is clear, the point is well made. You're
Still going to lose.
still going to lose, but they are going to make beautiful slides. Look at that.
You're really good at this. Look at it, it's gorgeous. I told you, it's
All the good in the world. Those actually aren't
Pretty
that
great.
gorgeous.
keynote.
I think they're
It's
getting the point.
fantastic.
It's keynote. It's I bet
Nicer
you.
than the NSA slide.
Yeah, what we're not seeing is the gorgeous transitions. I'm sure there's
Oh, yeah.
swoops and swipes and dupes and sound effects. Okay.
So scroll down and look at the ones from the DOJ.
Oh, you want to see the DOJ's? Okay. Here's the Department of Justice's slides. Oh, yeah. Can you read that?
No.
No. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to train the federal government in making slides, I think.
How about we fire them?
You just need to stop using Microsoft products.
It does. It's very PowerPointy. Yeah. Whoa, that's good. I'm glad they made that page right there. That's legible.
Talking about PowerPoint, when are they going to ever upgrade this thing?
Why? Do
Why?
you care?
I use PowerPoint.
You use it? Really?
Yeah, of
You
course.
still use it?
Yeah.
You
As
know who
opposed
uses
to
it?
what?
You know, use it, and it's frustrating to me is a lot of schools, even K through 6 schools.
They do.
Yeah, and it's really depressing to me to see these poor fourth graders forced to use PowerPoint. It's so sad.
I like it. Yet they won't teach cursive to kids anymore.
Right on. What? You think they should learn cursive
Ah,
with a
And
quill?
pens. Hardly anybody uses quill pens anymore.
Yeah.
you don't need a quill pen to write in cursive. A ballpoint will
You
do
really
it.
are sounding
Hey,
like Ben Franklin is here. You know what else?
that's that poor woman that was testifying in the Zimmerman case, and they were just humiliating her on the stand because she couldn't read cursive. And it was just like,
She can't read Sanskrit either.
You couldn't read cursive?
what is so hard about reading it? When I was a kid, they used to call it longhand.
Longhand.
Can you read longhand? No.
Spike in our chat room says he can pee in cursive.
Well, anyway,
If there's enough
Well,
snow,
anybody can
you
do
have
that.
no other way of writing with P.
Yeah.
It has to be cursive.
that's why kids should be learning cursive. How are they expected to pee in the snow?
They
if
could
they
get-
don't learn cursive.
They could develop their muscles so they could stop and start and stop and start, and then they could
be good.
they can
Well,
print
that's
the
not
letters
good.
out very
Doctors-
clearly.
Doing your kegels.
Doctors advise you not
That
to
would
do
be good.
Really?
And so I'll take it
Not
down the
good.
rat hole if he wants me to do that.
Is this
so
a
you
tech
think
show?
cursive sucks? It's weird.
I don't know.
Why would you need to learn cursive?
So you can read it.
But who's writing in it?
Well, old ladies.
Most of
and-
it is illegible anyway.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody's cursive that was born after 1970?
Like your doctor's.
That's because they don't
prescription?
teach it anymore.
No. I mean, they taught it in the 70s. I learned it.
Mine's terrible. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Just type. We got keyboards.
There,
man.
guys are all
Exactly.
walking down the same gangplank.
They don't teach spelling anymore, because the spell checker's going to fix it.
Oh, screw spelling.
Screw spelling.
Who needs it?
We don't need it.
Very soon they won't teach us to make things because we have 3D printers.
That's right. We can just print it. Did you see somebody's making a software now for the 3D printers that if it sees it's a gun part, will refuse to print it?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm not going to print that.
How does it know? I mean,
It has a
you could
database.
it has a database
Yeah.
of all the gun parts. Now you just deconstruct a database, you could put a gun together real easy.
Actually, DRM for 3D printers is going to be a huge, huge deal. I mean, once you can print out,
Right.
there was even a case about Lego bricks. Some guy printed out some missing Lego bricks. Well, you can't do that.
Well,
So
it's,
eventually
it's
your
legal
printer-
now because Lego's patent has or
Oh,
copyright or whatever is expired. But
since this is a tech show after all,
Yeah.
Microsoft actually announced that they're supporting 3D printing in Windows 8.1 natively.
Native.
What does that even
Been added.
mean? It's an
don't know.
operating system for the
What does that even
computer.
mean?
Well, what it means, John, is that basically how you have a printer driver for your 2D printer. Now you can have printer drivers for 3D printers built right
that's
into
pretty cool.
Windows. And isn't it magical? Come on. Get
Yeah,
excited.
you're right. Yep. That I'm gonna start using Windows.
I'm gonna make a
8.1
butter
now.
No, right there. I mean, that
Butter
makes me
knife.
switch right there. That's fantastic.
You can
right?
make like chess pieces and, earrings,
Earrings,
coffee
yeah.
cups.
It still can't make you coffee, though.
coffee.
No.
You can make coffee cup.
3D print coffee. When they could do that, I am in.
Like the replicators.
You have
in
the
Star Trek.
food,
Yeah, I
the
want a
food
replicator.
printers. That one that prints pizza. I'll bet you that's
What?
delicious.
There's a printer that prints pizza?
Yes.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
thinking of putting it on the space shuttle so you could
Gotta have one.
so you could print pizza.
John, order me that, will you?
You know what I thought was interesting was they printed a jawbone for a guy who needed surgery, and they basically customized this plastic jawbone, or not plastic, but made out of whatever material they implant, so your body doesn't reject it. And they printed this whole sort of jawbone part and then attached it to his
What a world.
head, and yeah,
That's fabulous.
Some guy in the chat room says, "Print my wife." Yeah, that's coming.
please.
I didn't realize this. NASA funded the research on this 3D pizza printer.
Yeah, yeah. They want to take a 2-ton pizza printer into space instead of an actual pizza.
I think it prints other things.
That's because they know. That's because they didn't know what to do with the cardboard box when they were up there. That's the problem.
See, it's just the first step to replicators.
And also, yeah, 0G 3D.
We
printing.
have to
So you don't
solve
want that salami slice
A
floating off,
lot of problems to print in space. It's not as easy as one would think.
especially when you're printing a pizza. Yes, it prints the sauce too. I'll bet you that's good.
In the Soviet Union, 3D printer prints you, says someone in the chat room.
Now, it's only a $125,000 grant from NASA, so that's not a lot of money.
It's enough to make one prototype, maybe.
Chump change.
Chump change. The guy who's invented this calls it his universal food synthesizer.
See?
Earl Grey tea, hot.
Exactly. Right.
Yes, Earl Grey tea, tepid.
Is that a Hitchhiker's Guide reference?
No, that's Picard.
Trek.
Picard.
He's always ordering
Earl Grey.
tepid Earl
Tepid.
Grey tea.
Tepid Earl Grey tea.
Hot, you're right, not tepid.
Yeah, it's always hot.
So it starts with an inert gas. Here's a slide. Inert gas, then a pressure regulator with the nutrient storage, the mixing chamber, the actuator valve goes through the flow sensor, the spray valve system using a 3D printer rep wrap just Spits it right out.
Spits out
In
that
other
stuff.
words, Leo, it's extruded just like McDonald's food. All McDonald's
fact,
food is extruded.
That's the
so-
same process pizza uses. That's a little known fact.
Here's a trial. They printed chocolate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Using melted chocolate to print it?
that
How
sounds
will
like
you
a good
print
idea.
chocolate without using chocolate?
Right
This is
like
bull-
this.
bull
Are you
crap.
watching this? It's printing chocolate.
Yeah, it's got some hot chocolate coming out of a hose and is making a chocolate bar. So how is this anything?
Well, you got to start.
Look at the
somewhere,
way they're
Tom.
doing it. They're so dead serious. Look at this printing of the chocolate. It's a hose of chocolate.
But you could do it at home. You could do it with your Windows 8 computer.
Yes,
right.
you'd have the I/O for it anyway.
Exactly.
This is idiotic.
He's making s'mores.
That's a breakthrough.
I can't believe this video. Oh my God. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. He'll have finished printing the chocolate, and we can all try some.
Yeah, you're on.
Great.
3D s'mores print. By the way, that thing on the top, that's a delicious sounding protein layer.
Yeah.
You like your pizza with some protein? Our show today brought to you by ShareFile.com. How long before you're sharing pizzas? Chocolate.
Yeah.
More. In business,
Remote
sending
printing.
remote printing. Well, we can do that now.
Yeah, we print you a pizza.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? You call the pizza place and they say, well, it'll come out in your printer in a minute.
Yeah.
Or you get it for free.
Yeah. Print it in a minute or it's yours for free.
Yeah.
It'd save a lot of red light running and stuff. In business, we rely on sending and receiving important materials, not pizza, but things like PowerPoint presentations, drawings, slides, images. I send audio to the radio stations every single week,
Remotely.
and I do it with ShareFile. So I record it here. I set it up with ShareFile.com. I've used other solutions, never as good as easy or as guaranteed as ShareFile. Problem with email, of course, you got bounce backs, these large files, also the security involved. Sending an email is like sending a postcard. So that's why I use ShareFile from Citrix. It's just the better way to send and receive files of almost any size. The file sent is a link, so there's no bounce back. I can see when it's been downloaded. I get an email message. You can also set access controls, password, how many times it can be downloaded, for how long. So, for instance, when I said radio ads, I say you can have it for a week because I don't want it to be downloaded after that time. You could, when the files are stored in the cloud, so I can access the files anywhere on my laptop or mobile device. I use the free ShareFile apps. So if I forget to send something, I can just fire it up on my phone. I don't have to have the file on my phone. I just say the one in the cloud, send that along. It really is great. ShareFile.com. Here, try it free for 30 days. No obligation. Visit ShareFile.com, click the microphone at the top of the homepage, and enter the offer code TWIT. 30 days free. Now, I remember that microphone at the top is the one you want, not the one in the middle. The one at the top, 30 days free. It says radio listeners, but you get the idea. ShareFile.com.
What do you make of this?
What? Brian Brushwood with Paula Dean. Did you know that he had done that?
Everybody in the chat
In
room
like
seems to know.
1997.
Well, it's, I'm just saying, it's the confluence. Brian Brushwood on Paula's Party
He even tweeted about it afterwards.
on the Food Network.
Like,
Wow.
We have had so much fun today, hadn't we?
We have.
We've had some
We have.
rain,
Well, I
we've
have.
had some cold, but right now we are really fixing to play with some fire. I want y'all to meet my friend Brian Brushwood.
Is that how she talks?
Yeah. You didn't know
Yeah.
this? Yeah, she's got
And they're surprised that she said something racist
10 years ago.
10 years ago? Actually, this was
About the
10
time.
years ago. It's right about the time.
Yeah.
Look at his hair.
He probably drove her to it.
His hair was more spiky then.
it's
some good
since
hair.
downgraded.
He's kind of toned
Right.
it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
it caught on
Here
fire.
to help me with this next recipe. Now, we all loved s'mores as a kid growing up, didn't we? The graham crackers.
I can't. Poor Brian. He can't even. The things we do.
Yeah. What? And quit show business?
Yes, he was young. He needed the money. So why don't you like video on Instagram?
We're going to stay on this topic whether we like it
video
or not.
Instagram.
You
no,
love
I love it.
Why?
Because
Why?
it's better than Vine. Because Vine's
Why?
only 6 seconds and Instagram's 15 if you want it.
Somebody
So
should come up with a
means those
20-second
videos are
one.
twice as
Pack
stupid
'em
and
in.
waste twice
Twice
as
as
much of your
stupid.
time.
It's easier to, well, all I have to do is point out the fact, wait a minute, this graph doesn't look anything like I expected it to. Vine has been hurt by Instagram. Vine is Twitter's video sharing technology. And the blue line is Instagram, which is actually kind of steady. And the yellow line is Vine, and Vine videos have dived. Less than 900,000 Vine links shared on Twitter in one day. That's 70% less than the week before, on the June 27th. So I don't know what that means. If I were Twitter, I'd be peeved. Twitter apparently missed out on buying Instagram. Thought about it, but decided not to. And one of the reasons they
Yeah,
bought...
and actually, Fred Wilson, one of their investors, said it was a big
blew
loss
it.
for them, big mistake.
Blew it. It was a defensive... You know, Mark Zuckerberg turned out to be pretty smart in getting Instagram because he really was making it a defensive move, I think. Because I look at how my kids use it. They've moved off Facebook. They're using Instagram.
I think that's what
They
we
use
decided
Vine.
when
Yeah.
this first came up. You said
Yeah. So I think that's twoo.
Yeah.
It's twoo.
I'm kind of with Matthew on the video issue.
You don't
I
like
think,
it either?
Well, look, I like the idea of Vine originally as a separate thing, and I think that Instagram has shown how to do it right. Okay? The problem is that Instagram is already a photo service, and I don't want to see videos on my photo service.
Right, exactly.
You know, I was one of the early adopters of Instagram, and I was bitchy when it moved to Android, despite the fact that I'm a heavy Android user, because I knew instantly that the quality would go down of the content I would see. And that happened. Thankfully, you know, I dropped a bunch of people, and I still had some pretty decent quality content on Instagram because of that. But
I was the Android user who was very excited that Instagram was...
well, there you go. But, I mean, you know what? I think the video thing... you know, hopefully I'll be able to par down my stream to get the good stuff out of it. But, you know, that's the problem. It's that people are going to take a while to get creative and really good with it. And hopefully they will eventually, right?
Plus, I think one of my points was that, well, like what you said, Miriam, having video in a thing that's already devoted to doing photos is a little like chalk and cheese, for me at least. But so photos... You know, you can take a half decent photo of things, and I can sort of scroll past it and think, oh, that looks nice. A video requires a whole bunch more time for you to make it any good, which most people don't have time or the skills to do. And it requires a whole bunch more time for me to sort of look at it and then realize that it's crap and I've just wasted 15 seconds of my time. And it doesn't, 15 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but over time, you watch enough crappy Instagram or Vine videos, you're thinking, I'm wasting my life.
I'm just looking through my Instagram feed, and out of a dozen or so photos, there's only one video in it right now. So I think while people jumped on the video at first, that this is the only video, doesn't even look that interesting. It's a storage locker.
It's terrible.
That's fascinating.
This is a terrible
It's
video.
black and
Talking about
white.
right
That
there.
means it's arty.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, it's a piece of crap.
I have to say, the other thing that's interesting is when you look at like that as a still is kind of okay. When you look at the
Right.
video, it's like, oh God.
Exactly.
Right.
And
they're shaky cam, and I mean, it makes me nauseous watching half of them because people will jump cut, from this to that, and I mean, why?
It's terrible
It's just-
already on Vine, but at least on Vine, it's a separate service.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's longer, just as terrible, and mixed in with a really pretty awesome service for pictures.
Right. In fact, did you see the guy who started 12 seconds? Do you remember?
Yeah.
That was a service
Yeah.
for sharing 12-second videos. Went nowhere. But, he said he thinks they made a huge mistake because Instagram was for photos. People got used to it. And now you're throwing videos in there. They're
Interesting.
two very, very different things.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, it's really well done, right? Like the UI, the
Yeah.
the
No, I
fact that
agree.
you can remove the last bit that you recorded, the filters, the Steadicam correction, all that.
I would only point out that really none of us are the audience for any of this stuff. It's all aimed at 15-year-old kids, right?
True.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
my daughters love it.
Yeah.
So
So there you go. And
So
they
they
were
need
too
to get
young
off
to
my
use 12
lawn.
seconds. I don't know why
They need to get off my lawn.
Oh, get off of my lawn. Google reportedly developing an Android game console, a smartwatch, and a new Nexus Q, just with the world's long-awaited.
Yeah, I wrote a column about this in PC Mag. I think this is bull.
This is from the Wall Street Journal.
I don't care.
That is not bull. That is a reliable source of something. Google spokesperson declined to comment. I could see them do well. Ouya has done, I think, quite well, hasn't it? As a $99 Android game console, I could see Google.
Oh
doing
yes,
that.
it's sweeping the nation.
Well, admittedly, it's not sweeping the nation, but it's an interesting product category.
Yeah, open source.
Remember, though, Google's not trying to create products for their own sake, right?
This will be. Is it? Maybe they're going to use the little ball, that ball,
Sphero.
the spheroid thing, and they
Yeah.
can put the game machine in that.
Yeah.
Now that would be kind of neat.
Oh, you mean the Q? Yeah.
Yeah, the little round
The
thing.
Q could be a game console.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
right now it's useless.
Right. Well, they stopped selling it, but apparently
I don't think they ever did sell it.
they
did
wanted.
actually?
Yeah, they didn't. They couldn't because nobody. It was too expensive.
Apparently, you can make a nice little Linux box out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a Linux box out of a cigarette lighter.
Out
It's
of anything.
anything. In fact, it's the first thing Linux people do is say, "Well, we could put Linux on it."
That's what they say after everything. You're right.
Well, I
But
could
I
put
think,
Linux
don't you
on
think it'd
it.
be cool to have a little round Linux thing you'd roll around?
Yeah.
Remember when the test was, could you run Doom on it? And then I
Yes,
think it was,
that's right.
Could,
Does
could
it
you
run
run
Crysis,
Quake on it?
right?
People ran
Yeah.
Doom on iPods. That was the dumbest
And a
thing ever.
watch. Someone ran Doom on
Doom
a watch.
on a watch. You can't play it. But you can do it, and that's the most important thing.
But it runs.
People are so excited, I don't know why, about Google selling Google Edition versions of the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the HTC One. They went on sale just last week. They
Oh,
will
they're
start shipping
excited.
July 9th. People are very excited. I don't know why about
Yeah,
this.
so I did a hands-on of both of those for Engadget this week. I've got them here in my pocket, and I have to say they're awesome.
Great.
So, Miriam, do you use one of the other branded version?
Yes, I have them as well. But I use pretty much every phone there is out there because that's my job.
Right.
I personally use a Nexus 4 as my main device, but I'm probably going to switch to an HTC One with stock Android at this point. I
Why?
believe the HTC One is the best piece of phone hardware in the universe right now. So
It's a beautiful piece of hardware.
and
It's
Leo
not,
agrees.
It's not just that. It's just great in terms of everything. And the software is pretty good as Sense 5, but stock Android is just a whole new dimension of better. And thankfully, they somehow fixed up all the imaging and camera stuff to be somewhat half decent. So the quality of the pictures you take with the stock Android versions of both these phones are very, very close, if not identical, to the quality coming out of the TouchWiz and Sense versions. Of course, you lose some functionality, but I'm willing to live without that functionality. Things like, the using the front and rear camera at the same time in the Galaxy S4.
That's
Nobody-
stupid. No,
A lot of it seems dumb anyway.
But
Like a lot of-
I like the Zoe a lot, and I like highlights a
Zoe's-
lot. I'll miss
Zoe's-
those.
I'm going to miss the Zoe, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is
What's
the
tell
one
us about
thing
the
I'm gonna-
Zoe? I don't know anything about the Zoe.
Go ahead. Go
What
ahead,
is
Mary.
the Zoe?
Well, so Zoe is this feature in the HTC Sense, the HTC One, and the Sense 5 version that lets you basically capture something like 10 frames at full resolution, and also an H.264 video. I think it's 6 seconds long.
3 seconds.
No,
But it does
it's
a
longer.
pre-record of another second, so you could get a
Right.
total of 4.
So
So that's
the
one of
cool-
the things that's interesting. If I'm pointing it at you, it remembers the first second before I press the capture button,
Right.
So
and it
so-
picks the best still images out of those as well as you get this
Right.
video. I really like.
And so
it.
you,
I like
there's a
that
bunch
idea.
of effects you can use out of that too. Like you can grab, you can make an effect where you can pick the best faces during that capture.
I was
So you
never
can have
able to
everybody
get that
swap.
work. Were you able to get that work?
It's in the gallery. So the thing is, on the Samsung, all that stuff is a feature in the camera.
Right.
With HTC, you shoot the Zoe first, and then later on in the gallery, you can do this at your leisure anytime. But you have to actually go in the gallery to do it.
I was never. It never seemed to do anything.
Didn't the BlackBerry have a feature like that where you could scroll back and forth? and
Yeah, I
pick
mean,
a
all of this
specific moment?
technology comes from a company that was recently acquired by Nokia, and they were the kind of the forerunner of this. Erase people in the background,
Right.
pick the best smiles, And Nokia acquired them, but they still have ongoing agreements with other companies, and so they've been supplying this technology to BlackBerry and HTC. And
That's interesting because there's a certain similarity
The
to
name
the
of the company?
features.
I'm trying to remember. I'm completely blanking on it right now, so I'll have to look it up. But maybe I'll do that right now and see if I can find it.
I was on a trip to Colorado for a couple of days with my son, took pictures only with my HTC One and the Galaxy S4. And I have to say, I was very pleased with the results. Both cameras are just excellent. I like Zoe's, and I would miss them.
What about indoors? What was the quality like?
You know,
I've got the name of the company here, Scalado, Scalado. So there you go. They just
There's
got
a
bought
nice
by-
set of snapshots, Leo.
yeah, from a camera phone.
Yeah. You have all
But
these
outside, I
expensive
find a lot of-
cameras.
This is indoors. This is not bad. This is at the
That's
airport.
indoors, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah, that's really good.
So
That
just to go
picture.
back to
Got a
the
funny
phones,
eye.
the cool thing about these stock Android versions is that they feel a little faster
Yes, they
and
do.
less cluttered,
Yeah.
and cleaner, simpler. It's basically, I think you're really getting the best deal. And it's up to you to pick the hardware now. You get the choice of the Nexus 4, the Galaxy S4, and the HTC One.
You know,
I've talked to our mobile guy too, Kevin Toffel, and he said the same thing about the HTC One being great hardware. And the problem is when you get a lot of, like, whether it's Samsung or Motorola, they put all this stuff on there of their own to
Right.
try and turn it into their own thing. And a lot of times it just craps it up and gets in the way of what you want to do.
Well, I'll give you an example of something that's telling. The Galaxy S4 normally, the 16 gigabyte version, has 5 gigabytes free on the onboard storage with TouchWiz UI and all the
horrible.
S features.
Yeah.
Of course, you can expand with micro SD, but with the stock Android, it has 12 gigs free.
wow.
So
Wow.
if that doesn't
Holy
tell you
cow.
something about the clutter and the uselessness
gigs
of all
worth.
these S
Yeah.
features that Samsung keeps putting onto people, I mean, what does, right?
You know,
And I mean, do you really need to scroll with using just your eyes? I mean, you really
It doesn't
need.
even work properly,
is that-
Yeah.
Matthew.
Right.
It doesn't even work properly. So
Well, that stuff's never going to work.
now there are some issues. These are not Nexus phones. The updates will come from the manufacturers, not from Google.
So you always be
Correct.
behind,
So it won't be like a Nexus 4 where you have
always ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, good point.
And I have to point out that once these phones came out, the ROMs were very quickly available. In fact, I updated. I have a European Galaxy
You
S4.
changed your phone again?
I have the. I'm like Miriam. I have them all, my friend.
Yes, but you're using this one.
I like the Galaxy S4.
I thought you liked the HTC One.
I can't change the battery. And that's a real issue for me. And I have 4 Galaxy S4 batteries, so I don't care what battery life is because I just pop another one in. I always have one in my pocket.
Oh, that's what that is.
So, and I noticed the ROMs are out. So if I wanted to, I could kind of make this unlocked European version into a Google edition. But what I did, which I think is even better, is somebody's put and probably is illegal. I don't know the camera and the gallery from the S4 stock edition or Google edition out, so you can download and install as an app. And I got rid of Samsung. Samsung's camera app is really crappy. And the Google app is much better. So it's faster. Yeah, go ahead and play with it. Turn it into a Russian phone again. Be my guest. He always, hey, you're better than Brian Brushwood. You found money in my phone. Look at that. He's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is this crap on the back?
No, don't you think that's cool? It's a Ninja pouch. So it's a little, you glue it on, and it's got a little fabric pouch, and you can put your driver's license, your credit card, a couple of bucks, mad money in there. And
it's
that's
like a kangaroo pouch.
yeah, it's like a little kangaroo pouch. It's stretchy.
Your phone.
Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
And you glue it onto your phone?
Yeah, you glue it on your phone.
Okay.
That's pretty cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay until you said glue it onto your phone.
Well, it's 3M adhesive.
Oh, okay.
It's magic, Matthew.
It's
Come on.
magic. Anyway, I think that people should understand that when they get the Google Edition phones, there are real advantages, and I think Miriam, you hit the number one advantage, which is that Galaxy S4 really doesn't have much. Oh, here, I'll unlock it for you. Whoops.
No
I
Russian
went
for
off.
you.
I'll show you that. Well, it's watching your eyes. Apparently,
Oh,
you
I've
have
seen this.
soulless eyes.
I'm a dead man.
So does Leo Rules with his Z.
It only recognizes my eyes. So, Miriam, would you recommend instead of buying? Well, now remember, you're not going to get subsidy either. You're going to pay the full freight for these. $650 bucks for the
It's interesting that the
GS4.
HTC One is cheaper
Yeah,
than
600.
the Galaxy S4 and has more storage.
Yeah.
Now, there are drawbacks that you touched upon. Personally, I don't think there are drawbacks. I think the
battery?
wave of the future is a fully integrated device like Apple's been doing for a while, because you can then have polymer batteries that can be shaped into the shape of the chassis. You can get a thinner, stronger chassis because of it. I think Samsung's doing it wrong. But the interchangeable battery, you're going to say, oh my God. Well, listen, that's what USB pluggable batteries do, right? I mean,
I guess I could carry that
what's
around.
the deal? I carry one with me when I really know that I'm going to need one.
It's
which is
bigger and
very
heavier.
Me too.
Yeah, well, it depends. They come in all sizes and shape. I have one that's the size of a credit card in footprint and about 4 credit cards thick or 3 credit cards thick, and it gives me about 1,000 milliamp hour.
Right.
So I can continue on for the rest of my day for a few hours.
Yeah, and I got a
It's
Mophie.
tiny.
I got a Mophie case for the one, but
Right. So the point
Leo,
is there are options, and I think that
Leo, you need to do what Dave Morin did. Have a
I know I have one for the
morning-
daytime.
morning phone
One
and
for the
then
nighttime with his
Yeah.
and what isn't he had a bespoke application
Yep.
for his assistant.
for his assistant. I have one of those as well.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, I don't think that should stop people from buying a phone, is what I'm saying. Like the removable battery thing is kind of it's a relic from the old days. It's
Yeah,
gonna go
Leo,
away.
you old relic.
You're a
You
relic.
know,
But I have
mean,
to point out the HTC is no thinner than the Galaxy S4.
no, but it's much better made. It's not.
It's
a piece of
beautiful.
junk.
But that has nothing to do with the removable battery. Well, maybe it does. I guess you had
No,
to
it
have a
does.
plastic
It does. It
back
has
in order
everything
to
with
pull off the.
with-
How do you get
Back.
a GSM card in the thing?
It's got a little slot
It's
on
got
the
a slot,
side.
just like the
Put a
iPhone.
slot.
Oh, the slot.
See, it's so easy to pull the back off. I don't know. To me, neither the HTC One or the Galaxy S4 is the phone I've been waiting for.
What phone are you waiting for?
I maybe the Motorola X phone, which we should see next month. What do you-
Moto
what do you-
X?
What do you know about that one, Miriam?
Those are not the droids you're looking for.
Don't
Well,
say
look,
that.
I don't think it's going to be better than the. I really don't think anything is going to get much better than the HTC One this year, frankly,
And probably not from Motorola.
and certainly not from Motorola.
Even though Google now is in charge and is running the
They have
operation.
nothing to do with each other. I don't believe that. For a
I
second.
do believe they do have something to do with each other.
I don't.
I mentioned this before, but Guy Kawasaki, who's now repping Motorola, invited me to an event in a couple of weeks.
He did?
At the Google campus, and I'm curious. I don't know what it's about.
You're going to get the phone.
It's kind of like a 2-hour drive for you.
Look, I know. Look, they put a rainbow circle around the Motorola.
So it's better already.
Already, it's
Right
prettier.
now, it's much better already.
That's
I
Guy
think we're gonna
Kawasaki's Apple
I think we're going to
nod.
see more stock Android devices, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something from Sony.
I think the Xperia looks great. I think that what's really interesting is there are cases on both sides. You could say a Google Experience phone is better. I don't know if Google is the be-all and end-all for user interface design, frankly.
I agree.
And I think that there are those who say that the manufacturers have really made additions that make them distinct. The Galaxy S4 is a very different phone from the HTC One, like it or not. So I think what's good in the bottom line is that there's a lot of choice out there. There's
More
a lot
choice.
Of
Choice
I
is
agree.
great.
I-
Choice is great, and I think that people should pick what's best for them. But
It's
I think that
hard for users to know. I get this call a lot.
Right.
What should I get? HTC One, GS4. A lot of people, even in the know in the tech industry, say, "What should I get?" And I don't necessarily feel as you do, Miriam, that the HTC One is head and shoulders above the rest. It's beautiful, yes. That's the kind of, and when somebody says I'm an iPhone user, I say get the one,
Yes.
right? Because that's an
Yeah.
aesthetic decision.
My biggest beef is that Samsung has incredible resources and has chosen to make a crappy looking, junky, plasticky.
kinda with you on that one.
That's what bugs me about it.
Yeah.
I think you've seen from like their Achieve 9 laptops that they can do beautiful aluminum clad devices and really put the effort into it. And they're not.
So why
and
did
I
they
don't
do that?
understand why they choose not
Probably a different division doesn't care.
to. I don't think they care. I think you're right,
Well,
John.
the other point I would make is that don't we end up putting these in cases anyway? So does it really matter what the phone looks like?
I
It
don't.
sure, in your case, talk about aesthetics. You have probably the ugliest looking piece of crap I've ever seen with that thing hanging off the back.
It's functional. And by the way, this is something that the one doesn't do. The little peekaboo
little crappy little
window.
case you got.
No, see, it's got a little peekaboo window that shows you the time and the notifications. Look at that.
Wow.
And then when I open it up, the phone turns on. But when it's closed, it's the phone. I think that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one doesn't do that because
Yeah,
it's got to be a Super AMOLED
They got
display.
moose heads on sale, by the way, for your house. Be
Really?
dynamite.
Where?
Yeah, I'm telling you, down to the antique store. On the,
I have horns
And
on the garage.
If
You
it's
should put
like
'em
the
on the car.
iPhone, if it's like the iPhone, it'll be beautiful and sexy and metallic, and people will buy a cheap rubber piece of crap and put it on their phone.
Exactly. So I think that while there are purists like you, Miriam, who just carry that one, you know why
He's
you could
got
do
two
that?
phones
Because
on him, by the
you're
way.
going to have another phone in a month or two. But
Exactly.
somebody who's got to have that phone last for 2 years, they're going to put it in a case, and all that beautiful design is hidden.
Well, that's their choice.
I carry the one
And
around without a
also,
case, and it
I
makes me
think-
very nervous. It makes me
I think
extremely
ultimately there are
I
other
actually-
arguments. There are other arguments to be made about the HTC One versus the GS4, and some of them go down to the display quality and the camera quality. And there's not just about the industrial design and the materials used. I mean, I think HTC is really trying to push the envelope in terms of technology, and I don't think Samsung is. I think Samsung is just doing what they have to do, the bare essential minimum to carry on.
And they
I
followed
think
the
it's sad.
Microsoft way of junking the phone up with about 800 features that are stupid.
You got it, and that's the biggest
Who
deal,
has
which
the best
obviously is
camera?
not a problem with the stock version, right?
I would argue on who has the best camera. I think the 4-megapixel camera is interesting, but consistently I'm getting better shots in the Galaxy S4.
I think the low light performance on the HTC One completely outperforms the Galaxy.
It does, but I don't take a lot of pictures in bars, and everywhere else, the Galaxy is great.
Which just
But that is
proves
a real-
to you that it depends on what your priorities are. Some people
Yeah.
will like the Galaxy S4 camera far better. I agree that the amount of detail coming out of it is staggering. It's amazing. Yeah.
With the
These
Google
are essentially
experience,
pinhole cameras
they're tiny.
that are okay. They can take a functional picture. If you really want
You
to take
saw those
photographs-
gorgeous pictures I took
I
of
saw them. They're
Colorado?
on a little screen with backlit. I would like to see one blown up to 18 by 16 by 20 or something like that.
But the point is, I'm not going to. I'm going to look at them on a computer
Right,
screen.
that's because these are all snapshots. That's what these cameras do. They take snapshots like disposable cameras used to do. But it's crap at the end of the day. One of these days, you're going
Well-
to take one of the greatest pictures you've ever taken in your life, and you say, I wish I had taken that with an actual camera.
I will give you a completely different perspective, John. I got into photography through camera phones in the early 2000s. I was an early adopter of camera phones, and it taught me everything I know about photography. And now I use like the highest end DSLRs, etc., because the restriction put upon me by using camera phones and the advantage of being able to upload to the internet anytime have, to me, far outweighed the carrying a big heavy camera around. And this is why, in fact, I still don't carry a big camera around.
That's a great
the
point,
quality
Miriam.
of these phones has gotten really, really good. I think we've gotten into point and shoot territory in terms of performance on some of these devices.
And even professional photographers will say the best camera is always the one you have with you. And the one you have with you is very rarely the giant thing that weighs 15 pounds. It's your phone. And so it captures things that you couldn't capture.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good apologies for the situation at hand. I admire that.
The other
And
argument...
yes,
It's
it's
an
true.
evolution,
If
John.
you've got no camera and you have your phone and you take a picture with the phone, maybe a great shot. Yeah, if you got nothing else going on.
The
but,
other
but
argument-
to take the phone into the woods like Leo did here when he's got tons of nice cameras is nuts. That's the point.
I do have much better cameras than this. And yet, I think one of the arguments is, and I've heard a lot of...
Oh, by the way, not all cameras weigh 15 pounds.
No, I have the OMD, the Olympus, that you like very much,
a
and
nice
it's
camera.
light. It's a great camera. However, I think the argument is being made that the future of photography is not about glass or sensors or pickups. It's about software, and that computational photography really is where everything's happening. And the key to this is you got a very, very powerful computer behind this crappy lens that's always connected, and there's some real advantages to that. Things like the
Look at the
Zoe and the
Lycra.
highlights show that you can do something
Lycra.
with an HTC One you cannot do with a camera.
And then you'll see what Nokia's done with the 808 PureView appear on Windows Phone with the EOS when it's released.
This is
and
the
it's-
41 megapixel super sensor.
Right, and it's exactly what you said. It's computational photography. I mean, it opens up a whole new dimension of what you can do. And Matthew mentioned Nitro as well.
Yeah, Lightroom I'm a little less excited about, but
But just imagine when you have
the
that
technology
kind of
behind it,
computational power in your phone.
right.
Imagine,
Yeah.
so you've taken a photo and it's focused on the wrong thing. You just switch the focus.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a huge improvement.
I agree with both these guys. Is there another topic we can move
Yeah,
to?
we're going to move on. The other thing, one more thing I would point
John
out,
wants
though,
to disagree with something.
that the convenience of the fact that because I took these with Android, they were immediately uploaded to Google Plus and to Dropbox, and I didn't have to worry about backup. I was actually able to share them before I even left. Google did some amazing things. This is an Auto Awesome where it did a GIF, an animated GIF out of the
Is it GIF or GIF?
Well, you notice I use both to hedge my bets on that, and I'll continue to do that. Say it both ways. each
GIF is
time.
what the guy who invented it calls
Who
it.
cares?
Who
He's an
cares
idiot.
what you think?
He just
Can't be-
invented it. That's
He can't be
all.
that much of
He
an
doesn't get
idiot.
to say.
Oh, anybody could have come up with GIF.
He doesn't get to say.
Graphics interchange format.
You know who gets to say? You and I get to say. You know why? Because when GIFs came out, you and I were the only people actually saying this stuff out loud. Everybody else was writing. You and I were on the radio, and we get to choose how things are pronounced. We do.
Yeah, GIF.
Yeah, GIF.
Our
show- It was a little reprise from the old Dvorak and Computers show.
I happen to have a tape of that show
Do you?
in my car.
Oh, I want it.
No, we need to. Both of us sound
Hand puppets.
This is one of those streamers or
It's on
something. It's a
8-track.
skimmer. We're
Yeah.
both high pitched. Hi, Leo. How you doing, John?
I can fix it.
Yeah,
it's
we
okay.
have- blah, 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 blah.
That's the problem with analog recording technology. But
That
we
needs
can
to
fix
be
it.
on the-
We have the means. We have computational audio. Our show today brought to you by Audible.com. Did you read the New York Times article this week about audio books? How many actors now, the reading is the performance. And I have to say, I agree 100%. The quality of these audio books, especially the audio books from Audible.com, brings them to life. It's like you're listening to a movie in your head. I love Audible.com. I listen to books all the time. Currently listening to Great North Road, which is a Peter F. Hamilton sci-fi. You like Peter F. Hamilton? Our sci-fi fan? I love Peter F. Hamilton. It is the best. He is one of my favorite sci-fi writers. Not probably all that well known, but boy, is he a craftsman. But it's not just sci-fi. I mean, we're talking history, biography, memoirs. We're talking mysteries. We're talking thrillers, kids' books, young adult books. The final book in the Old Filth trilogy has just come out. I have no idea what this is. Jane Gardam, Old Filth, The Man in the Wooden Hat. But I'm sure there's somebody at home going, wow, it's out. I'm so excited. This is why Audible is great. It's the most amazing bookstore ever. 100,000 plus titles, read by the best readers. And I'm telling you right now, you can get 2 books absolutely free. We know that, the first time you try audiobooks, you might be skeptical. I don't know. Am I ready for listening? Is it going to be as good as reading? So you got to try it. Jeffrey Rosen's new book, The Supreme Court, The Personalities and Rivalries That Defined America. See, I love this history. And, I wasn't, it's like as you grow up, you don't have time to read anymore. But now you have time in the car commuting. You have time walking the dog or at the gym. And audiobooks just make that time fly by. Did you see the Abe Lincoln movie, Lincoln? Was that amazing? Based on this one, Team of Rivals. Doris Kearns Goodwin's amazing book about Lincoln and his amazing team. Paul Thurrott, who does Windows Weekly, is listening to this. 57 hours and 13 minutes, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Wow. Grover Gardner, though, the narrator, is one of my favorite. Let me just play a little bit so you can hear Grover's voice. One of my favorite narrators. Here's the deal. Go to audible.com/twit2. Oh, I don't have Flash on here. I can't play it. I'm trying as hard as I can not to put Flash on my new MacBook.
Why?
Well, I'll talk about that in a second. Go to audible.com/twit2. There it is.
For many years after the war, tons of Nazi documents lay sealed in a large U.S. Army warehouse in Alexandria, Virginia. Our government showing no interest in even opening the packing cases.
Just pause that for a second. The way he reads that, it's conversation. You can listen to it, and you get the book. And I have to say, if you've not tried this, you've got to get these 2 free books. You'll be signing up for the Platinum account. That's a subscription, 2 books a month. It also includes the daily audio edition of the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. You pick. It's not the whole newspaper, obviously, but it's a really great way to get some news in there. And it's free for the first month. You can cancel anytime in the first 30 days, pay nothing, but these 2 books that you get will be yours to keep forever.
Get In the Garden of the Beasts.
I don't know that.
It's a hot book right now.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. What's it? Is it a novel?
It's about no. It's a true story about a
Love, terror, and an American family in Hitler's brain.
Berlin.
Oh, Berlin.
Can't read cursive.
Or printing, apparently. Oh, I love Eric
Hitler's
Larson. I
brain
read
would
his
be
Devil in the
more
White
interesting.
City. He is one of my favorite authors. I will get this. Look and see. So this is what you do. You add it to your wish list, and when the time comes, that you get your renewal on your subscription, or you're ready to buy some new books, there's all the list of books that I've got on my wish list. Quite a few, actually. Every time somebody tells me about a great book, I put it down in here. Audible.com/twit2. Huh? Matthew?
I want Christopher Walken to narrate pretty much everything.
Oh, I wish I could do it, Christopher Walken. He should. I agree.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. Audible.com/twit2. Give it a try today. 2 books waiting for you. Absolutely free. I haven't looked at my wish list in a while. I got 25 items.
You're falling behind.
I'm falling behind. I get 2 books a month, and I love it.
Have you considered reading for Audible?
I read I did.
This
In
has
fact,
been discussed a number of times.
Well, they
on the show.
asked. I read a little public domain short story called Little Golden Riding Hood. Apparently, they couldn't get the rights to Little
Sounds
Red.
kind of lewd.
Little Red Riding Hood.
So it was a knockoff, basically.
Well, I think they wanted me to.
It was an audition.
No, they just wanted me to experience what it was like, because it took me very little time to do it. The true history of Little Golden Hood. This is it.
This is you?
Yeah, 95 cents.
95 cents.
It's short. It's 9 minutes.
It's 9 minutes.
I didn't have a lot of time. And they've asked me since to read books, but who has time? I
Why
don't
don't
have
you read a
time.
few of my columns? That'd be a good little bit. We could sell those.
And then John C. Dvorak said, no answer. He knocks louder.
Turn this
Nobody.
off. This is a horrible
No, don't turn it off.
horrible
Don't
read.
turn it off.
Keep it playing.
And the
hate it.
door opens. Not a soul in the house.
It's not bad.
The old woman had
I
risen
read it
early
for
to sell
kids. It's a kid's story. I'm sorry. I don't think this is my best work.
It's the only thing you've done.
I can do better, John. Give me another chance. When I
What about-
retire.
What about you, John?
Oh,
Have you done
I
anything
can't.
for Audible?
I get about halfway. No,
No, you got a producer who helps you with that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh, it's really, it is challenging because
And also,
they
I would
stop
start to
you.
get hammy if I got into it.
Well, you could hear how hammy I was.
You weren't that hammy.
It felt hammy to me.
It could be.
So yeah, I have it on my to read too long read later list. But the New York Times apparently has a good article in the Sunday Times about actors who have started reading audiobooks, and it's a good living for them. And that's Audible primarily, because they really are doing a
Do
great
they get
job.
a piece of the action?
I don't know how it works.
Well, they'd have to, or otherwise it wouldn't be a good living.
Well, for the hourly, the amount of work you put into it hourly.
Well, you should know the number. What is it?
I didn't get paid. I did that one for free.
Well, that's not much of a living.
They did tell me when they asked me to do a book, they told me how much they paid me. It seemed like it was okay. It was like $50 an hour, but it wasn't enough for me to give up my day job.
$50 an hour.
Something like that. I can't remember what the deal was.
I don't think an actor. Well, maybe a
No, but actors, believe me, that take
yeah,
any
most of them
work.
are starving
Yeah.
to death.
Google Plus 2 years old this weekend.
Jeez.
Can you believe it's 2 years old?
Wow.
Time flies when you're not having fun on Google Plus.
I actually like Google Plus. I've come
Me
around
too.
a little bit. Don't you like it?
I don't like it at all.
It's good.
It's good, Miriam. What don't you like about it, DeBoer?
I don't like this new thing that you're showing right
I
here.
love this new, the 2-column or 3-column
It's
if you
just
have
a
a big
bunch
enough
of boring
screen.
crap.
It's like a magazine.
It's not like it's like a lousy magazine.
Well, you're not following the right people. You got to circle the right people.
I'm following a lot of people, and it's still a
I
bunch
think it's
of duds.
gorgeous. I really like it, and I feel like the engagement on it is very
even
good.
Our friend Mike
Elgin,
who's one of the better guys on this
he
whole
knows
thing.
how to. He really knows how to
I was
use this platform.
scrolling through this thing, and he's got a picture of a crappy little movie of two people playing bocce ball. And I looked at this and said, Mike, what is this? And I'm thinking, nah, this
All right,
whole thing
you've
is
actually
not for me.
pinpointed a problem because what happens, and this happens on all social media, and it happens really badly on Twitter, you follow somebody because of their content that's going to be good, but what's mixed in is their personal stuff. Everything's all mixed in. So you see Mike, what we should be able to do is say, I want to follow Mike Elgin's professional posts and not his personal posts, something like that.
Actually,
That would be good.
I actually enjoy. I'm going to disagree with you a bit, and it would be good if you could separate certain people.
It's amazing.
But I actually enjoy getting some of the personal stuff along with the professional stuff with most of the people I follow.
I think most people are like you. I think they get a kick out of some of the personal stuff, but I don't.
Like, I don't want too much, if it's too personal, but a little bit, I don't mind.
I
And
ban. I ban all
who
the
came
people.
up?
I'm sorry. I was just going to
You
say.
know who came up with an idea, Leo?
we'll never get it.
Just like the one I'll let you finish in a minute, John.
Yeah.
Who came up with an idea just like you were describing was Bill Gross. I can't remember the name now.
Bill's
The
a
Social
smart
Network.
guy. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he started one, and I can't remember the name of it, and I don't think anybody used it. But that was one feature, was that you could follow just Leo talking about tech,
Right.
or just Leo talking about photography or whatever.
Right.
And it was a good way of segmenting your stream.
Google has a lot of controls. There's sliders, there's circles, now there's communities. I think that they have gradually improved this to the point now, especially because of the new photo features, where I just love it. This is a
You know what I noticed?
Sucks.
Photography, like friends of mine who are photographers,
It's great for
they love
photography.
it because it's beautiful presentation. There's a lot of photographers on there. There's a lot of groups, a lot of circles, a lot of whatever. And so if you're into that, it's a really great platform for that.
2 posts in a row. This is Marina Molnar's picture of the Potala Palace in Tibet.
Yeah, quite stunning.
Stunning image.
That could
And
be
then
on her blog, though.
This is from
You've seen
a
it there.
Canon users. This is from a Canon, but you see these together, right? One after the other. This is from a Canon users community that I'm following. Another great image.
Oh, there's
Andy
another
Anako.
winner. Yeah,
There's
and
a
Natko's picture of a Coca-Cola.
Now, okay, I just want to point this out through glass. Glass has become a polluting factor, I have to say.
That makes it so much better.
Yeah, I wish people wouldn't take pictures with Google Glass, especially of garbage. But a lot of beautiful images, and a lot of great
Oh, yeah,
shares.
right,
And
yeah.
then, okay, here's another tip. Go to the What's Hot section, and you can see what people are really engaging with.
Oh, yeah.
Look at number 1, George Kazoy. I'm watching Leo Laporte on Twitter, and the subject of cursive writing came up.
And you can't read that, can you?
I can read it. Does anybody write cursive anymore? This guy's made a great post. Do
Wow,
you-
that is a fantastic post. I have never seen anything so outstanding
such a
as
grump.
this post.
Are you on
Can
any-
you send me a
are
link
you on
to this
any social
post?
network?
Seriously.
John, do you use Twitter? Do you use anything?
Yes, I use Twitter.
Anything?
Yeah.
What
and I
else?
block everyone who reposts Foursquare. I see it, boom, they're done. Why do I care about somebody eating McDonald's
I only
hamburgers?
post badges. Is that okay?
I kind of feel the
you
same
backed
way
off
as
a little. I
John
think I've
about
already thrown you off because of your Foursquare. Foursquare, I'm checked in at the
No, I don't do all the
local corner.
check-ins.
I
Just
checked
when
in.
I get a badge, like crunked.
Oh, I got a badge.
Correct.
Done.
I'm pretty proud of that one.
Miriam was going to say something.
Sorry, Miriam.
I was just gonna say that I'm with John on this one. Foursquare.
Yay.
I just never really got into Foursquare. I have an account, but I don't.
Well, you guys should be very happy because Foursquare is already backing down, and now they say, well, we're just going to be a recommend. They basically want to be Yelp, a recommendation engine.
I actually think their recommendations are pretty good.
There's the
I
value
tried
of
to
your
use the
badge.
badges and I tried to use the check-ins and tried to care whether I was mayor of something. But the thing I've found the most useful is when I go somewhere, I will look and see what tips they have, and
Yeah.
oftentimes they're pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, well, by the way, for the chat room, yes, I stopped following Woz because
He
even though
does Foursquare check-ins. Yeah.
constantly,
Yeah.
I'm at home, I'm in the bathroom, I'm taking a crap, I'm taking a pee, I'm over here in the bedroom, I'm going to bed. Good night. I mean, Foursquare.
But that's Steve Wozniak, the guy who invented personal computing,
I
practically.
don't care when he goes to the toilet.
Okay. Okay. By the way,
So
one
there's
advantage
our-
of cursive handwriting, Odd Brain pointed this out in our chat room, NSA can't read it.
Hey, that's a good.
Now you're talking.
We should all
It's like
start using
encryption.
cursive. It would drive them nuts. There'd be a government report next year of 43 wiretaps, 4 were in cursive.
No,
We
no.
couldn't
You know
read
what's going to
those.
happen if we start writing cursive and post pictures of it? They're going to hire the people from the post office who decipher addresses.
Those
there's
guys
an
are
entire
good.
job.
Those guys are
dedicated.
good.
Yes,
Isn't that a dying breed, though?
I think it is.
It's like the chicken sex
Does
stores here in
anybody use the
Petaluma.
post office anymore?
It's funny. I use the post office a lot.
Really?
You're more
People
protected.
hate on the post office for the only reasons it's the only thing that's protected by government law, that you can't
Right.
start snooping in post office.
Right.
But if you get it Federal Express, they can open it up.
Right.
At UPS, the post office is the last safe place you can communicate.
But that's assuming you even get the mail in the first place.
You
In my
get
case,
it.
I
You're
never
in
get
Canada.
it.
The Canadians got a different
No,
problem.
Miriam's in San Francisco.
I'm in San Francisco.
This is bull crap. This is a meme that's bogus. You
Our
get your
post office
mail.
is
I get
excellent.
plenty of mail.
They lost my rent check the other day.
Oh, that's not good.
That's what he says.
Yeah, they lost my
I like the old lost. The
rent
dog
check.
ate it.
Yeah.
Now you're just scrolling through this useless. Look at this.
Animated GIFs. God bless them.
Look at this.
Evolution of the human being. That's a great animated GIF. GIF.
Whatever.
Bloop.
It's terrible.
You start,
So,
see, the
Leo,
people are laughing. They're enjoying. They're
what's your
having
take-
fun.
What's your take on this versus, say, Flipboard then? Because for me, this is kind of, I stopped using Google Reader to circle back to what we started talking
Right.
about early on because, I mean, I really enjoy a good presentation, and I never felt like Google Reader was giving me that. That's,
No, that's
why
true.
I actually like to read the native websites, for
Right.
example, in
Yeah,
Gadget.
agreed.
But I think with Flipboard, I find the presentation is really appealing, even though it's pulling
Yes.
content from various locations. How do you?
And Google
like,
Reader
how
could
do
have been Flipboard. You know, if they had
Exactly.
cared about, like they had all the tools, they could have just made it nicer looking. They could have had a great mobile app.
It's a different
Why
philosophy.
did they not do that?
It's a different philosophy. Dave Weiner pointed this out, of all things, a guy who invented RSS. People treat Google Reader like a email inbox, right? Here's all the new articles from all the sources I follow. Now I got to go through them one by one. And Dave even said, you know what? That's not how people consume information
No, it's
anymore.
not.
They consume it as a river, which they dip into. They don't have to read. They don't have to get to inbox zero because nobody wants to have to do that.
and that's actually why I stopped using Reader
Exactly.
and I started using Twitter instead. I have Twitter lists that I came up with that basically duplicate all the things I was getting through Google Reader, or almost all of them. And it makes so much, it's such a big difference using a tool where people are making recommendations to you
Right.
about things to read instead of an automated feed of stuff coming punched out at a certain time of the day.
And all Flipboard
I
is
agree.
just a nice presentation of those Twitter lists, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing that Flipboard is missing, which is why I use Prismatic, and I've experimented with Zeit and pretty much News 360, pretty much everything that comes out. I think Flipboard is missing the opportunity to really do smart recommendations. I think that's the next sort of frontier in that type of, news recommendation technology or whatever, is to get good at showing me things I haven't already said I'm interested in.
Do you have a favorite among those social news readers like Prismatic?
Prismatic is my current favorite. They have done the best job, or are doing the best job, I think, of doing smart recommendations, which is really, really, really hard. I mean, if you talk to Brad Cross, the founder, who's a data scientist, that stuff is just really, really hard. And so they're not perfect, but I think they're one of the best out there.
Yeah, I check a number of, obviously, in my business, a number of news sources every morning, and Prismatic is one of them. TechMeme is still a big starting point, I have to say.
Me too.
What Prismatic surfaces is kind of the unexpected stuff. TechMeme gives you the obvious. Like, if you want to know what happened last night, you go to TechMeme.
Right.
But
and Prismatic, that's what I'm looking for, is that kind of serendipity factor where you don't. So I already know all of the sources that are going to show up on TechMeme. But Prismatic gives you a little something different. And sometimes it's not something you want.
Well, here's a perfect
sometimes
example.
it is.
I'm looking at my Prismatic. 2 articles right in the top. Lady Gaga amends the national anthem at the Pride Parade in New York City to Land of the Free, Home of the Gay. Love that. And then Dwight Howard offered free chicken fingers for life if he signs with the Mavs.
You can't find better news than this.
That's the news I'm looking for.
This is where it's at.
Free chicken fingers for life.
That's
the mind
astonishing.
reels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there's a lot of good news here.
How a cloud score is calculated.
Uh-huh.
How to use group video.
John, what do you use?
I actually have a couple. Yeah.
What do you
Did
use?
you hand?
It's
you
called a
hand-coded your own
newspaper.
No, I actually do
You
have a
hand-coded
newspaper.
your
His
own with
butler
Notepad.
irons it every morning so he doesn't get ink on his fingers.
Exactly.
And he just reads that. It's the Financial Times of London, and he loves that.
I have some proprietary stuff I look at.
What does that
okay.
mean?
It's just some things
Your
that
own,
people
or?
generally don't see. Yeah, I have some stuff that I.
So you hand-coded a
Cool.
newsreader?
Yeah.
Wow.
in Notepad.
Yeah, Notepad.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Instagram under attack from fruit-wielding spammers.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Fruit.
So
That exploded.
It could be worse. I mean, it is Pride weekend. Happy Pride, everyone. So maybe the fruit thing connection is right
Hey,
there.
fruit,
Right?
Well, he
there you
said
go.
it.
It didn't make.
it was an all.
What's your email so we
it
can
was an
the complainers can
all-fruit
sit.
diet spammer.
But it happened so quickly.
And
like
and Giga Malik
Yeah.
got bit.
yeah, my stream was just all fruit basically.
You got it
They
too,
hit some-
Matthew?
No, I did not get fruited or whatever the term is. But
I need to
But the
check
Another
on this
victim
now.
of the fruiting.
I didn't
whole
see any
stream
fruit
was like-
either. I didn't see any fruit either, but
I'm gonna look right
Kevin
now.
Marks, who's on here often, he got fruited.
Did he?
Dixon, yeah.
so it sounds like they went after big names. Now, here's the real story, I think, is different than the story that I saw. The story I saw was, oh, my God, somebody has hacked Instagram, is posting pictures of fruit in Ohm and Kevin's stream, promoting this all fruit diet. Instagram said, yeah, we got it. We've got those few people who got bit, and I don't know how many it is. We're going to reset their passwords. We're deleting all pictures of fruit from
So
Instagram.
Matt Buchanan is one of them. See? Look
Yeah,
at
it was
that.
well-known people.
Yep.
So, but I think the bigger story is how the hell did it happen?
Yeah, we haven't really figured that out. I mean, Ohm said there was a link that went to a BBC story, but the link was hijacked or something. I couldn't figure out the exact details, but it worked pretty well.
It sounds to me more like they were targeting, because they got big name journalists, people who are very active and well known in social media. If it had
Yeah,
been
that
just
wasn't
a link, it would have been
which is
kind of
odd.
more random, right?
I think if they were doing high profile journalists, I for sure would have been targeted. So
Well, I have to point out that I wasn't targeted either, Matthew. If you search for #miracle, you will quickly find a lot of the fruity pictures, although they're being deleted as we speak.
don't click on anything.
It's unfortunate.
Like
They're
a lot
very
of
pretty.
repetitive photos.
Go ahead, Miriam.
I said it's unfortunate because they're very pretty, a lot of them.
They're actually, they're actually
They're good
lovely
pictures of
photos.
fruit.
They look like stock photos to me.
Well, I don't think this fruit diet company actually went out and, had custom-made photos.
Commissioned photo.
Yeah. Probably a lot of stock photos. So we don't know what my concern, and this comes from the fact that Instagram's owned by Facebook, which has not shown itself to be any good at this stuff, is that it's not that these people did something, but that in fact the database has been corrupted or somehow hacked. Instagram said a small portion of our users experienced a spam incident where unwanted photos were posted from their accounts.
It's the NSA.
There
They
you go
even
again.
redirected the URLs. They rewrote the URLs of your profile.
Yeah, see, it strikes me that really there's a larger security issue here, that Instagram was compromised. But I don't know.
Well, at least they did it in a very humorous way.
Yeah, for spam, it wasn't that bad.
You'd expect them to actually use pictures of spam.
Well, wait till the spam diet comes out. Exactly. And then, let's see. I'm going to see if I am getting...
Do not have the Costco pulled pork.
What?
Why not, John?
Hey.
People want me to always talk about stuff.
Is it bad?
It's terrible.
It's not the first thing I would want to try. is Costco
I've been
pulled
going
pork.
through the...
They sell it in a big plastic bag.
I'm trying to get through all the... to compare. I have to reset my pulled pork, so I have to see if anyone makes a
You
good one.
test other
commercially.
people's. Why are
That's
you
all
resetting
crap.
your pulled pork?
I just want to make sure that no one's doing a better pulled pork than
Yours
I
is
do.
still king.
Yeah.
But
Someday you'll be able to print it with a 3D printer.
Yeah, there you go.
Pulled pork.
Okay, we got somebody in the chat room that says they make a great pulled pork, so we got to...
You know who made great pulled pork? Ever hear Paula Dean?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I don't think so.
No.
It's just butter. It's basically half
Just
butter.
Butter and ho-hos with a little bit of pork. Our show today brought to you by Sumall. This is, you've been using this, Chad, did you say?
Oh my gosh, I've been loving it.
Our good friend, Dane Atkinson, who created Squarespace, has created this to bring business intelligence, the very sophisticated data analysis that big business has access to everybody. So we've all got data that we might want to analyze from Google, Twitter, YouTube, PayPal, Amazon, Facebook. If you're, well, for instance, for us, we sold T-shirts. We want to see, how did that campaign work? Did any of our social media efforts work? Was there a tie-in to the increase in sales when we mentioned it on the air? Things like that. Not easy to get all that stuff together. SumAll makes it possible. Connecting key data to give you graphs, insights, information from your social, your commerce, payments, website traffic. They keep adding new sites. They just added MailChimp, Google+, AdSense, SendGrid, Basecamp, Bitly, WordPress, Constant Contact. I'll give you a good example. A lot of us have Bitly accounts. You probably do this to track when people click a link, a shortened link that you put in your Twitter.
MailChimp.
Yeah. So you can see that graph, but what you don't see is, well, how did the Bitly traffic correspond to my mention on Twitter or whatever? Now with SumAll.com, you go to one place, you get these great graphs, this great analysis. Best of all, it's in beta. It's free. Free. Not freemium free. SumAll, SumAll.com. They've just added an export and spreadsheet view so you can take projections and information, put them into email. In fact, they're always adding new features. They just passed, listen to this, 1/2 trillion social impressions tracked. They've been growing fast, 30% in the last few weeks. They're on a tear right now. And then, frankly, they're the only ones that are giving real people access to business intelligence in the kind of way that you can look at this and truly use it. What are you tracking, Chad? Are you tracking Minecraft?
So right now this is the OMG Craft website, and so I can track visits. And
that's Google Analytics, probably, right?
Yes. So this is plugged in through Google Analytics, and I can also see, like, well, did that have any? If I got lots of hits on my website, did that have any effect on my subscribers? And you can kind of see, yes, there is
direct
right here.
Correlation, yeah.
If I wanted to, I could say, well, you know what? This was associated with a campaign. So let me go ahead and add a note that this was, with the 5th episode or whatever.
You posted a tweet and a couple of Google Plus posts or whatever.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. And then I can even say, you know what? I really would like to compare this with another week. So I can click the compare button, and then I can overlap my grids. Here we go. Let's move that one out of the way there. And you can do that against all of the things that I'm checking all of my fans. Of course, this one was pulled not from Google Analytics, so it's polling. So I only started my poll on May, so you can only see back to May. But if I had signed up earlier, I could compare one week versus another and just overlay it on top of each other.
This is really easy to use. I want you to try it for free. You don't need to give them a credit card or anything because it's free. Your name, your email, and a password. That's all you'll have to give them to create a free account. Then start connecting up your social networks and start just analyzing. And it's hard to describe the value of this until you do it, and then you realize what you can see. Very powerful. I think, John, you should enter in your pulled pork analytics into this and keep track of pulled pork from around the world, and it'd really give you some insight. It's like an executive pulled pork dashboard.
Yeah.
I think you need it. SumAll, people, don't forget the name. Just try it. Next time you got a little downtime, SumAll.com. Allow some time, because once you start playing with it, it's hard to stop. It's so fascinating. SumAll.com. Miriam, do you know anything about the next iPhone?
No.
Nobody does.
No.
Tim Cook said last year that at All Things D, they're going to double down on secrecy, and I think they have.
Yeah, or either that or they're going to discontinue the product.
Put it in a watch.
Put it in a watch.
It would be so...
Dick Tracy watch.
It would be so cool for Apple to do something like...
That would be terrible.
It feels like they're on a kind of very steady cadence, right? Left, right, left, right. And that you just kind of... It's very predictable.
Money.
iOS 7 was not... I'm not impressed, but yet we'll see when it comes out.
You don't like the tube thing.
I don't like that at all. I think it's ugly.
I think it's going to be a killer. I'm going to get one.
Okay, so there you go. But anyway, pretty much that's it, right? Okay, it's an iPhone 5S. Right. And it's going to have iOS 7. It's not going to have a fingerprint reader. There's not going to be a watch. It's not going to...
It is a watch.
I want Apple to blow my freaking mind. Please.
I think the Mac Pro did that.
Well, it blew something.
Blew a fuse.
Jeez. What do you think? You're going to run out and buy that $5,000 garbage can?
I don't need it, but I think that...
No one needs it.
I think that they've pushed forward with the next generation of, desktop workstation level of computing.
No, I think it's not. because
Mind blowing is over.
That's what I think. I think Apple's lost its mind-blowing capability.
Yeah.
I fear
I
that.
think you're
That's
right.
why I'm desperate for them to do it. And I thought, okay.
How about a TV? There's
It's
a thought.
interesting because you're right in the sense what Phil Schiller said, can't innovate my ass. Look at our Mac Pro. But this is not, in my opinion, what professionals want. They want a cheese grater that had the latest chips in it. They don't care if it looks like a tube.
That's not progress. Look, when the MacBook Air came out, it changed everything. And now do we care that we have no ability to update the RAM or the storage or anything? No.
But that's because we're
We just go
amateurs.
buy
Times have
another one
changed.
2 years from now. I mean, the
You think
point
pros
is,
will do that?
yeah, of course they will. They already do. I mean, if you're really serious about video editing, you're not going to last for 4 years with a machine.
I agree with him, 100%.
It's
though,
her, by the way, John.
Yeah.
Sorry.
he keeps
Yeah,
getting
it's
the wrong pronoun. That's
yeah,
all right.
It's okay. But
I think that this is a great home theater PC for people with more money than sense.
I don't think it's a home theater PC. at
Really,
all.
you think the pros will?
Look, it's the next logical thing. Like you're gonna get this entire ecosystem, which is what Apple wants, of these cylinders made by third parties, like OWC, that plug into the Thunderbolt 2 ports and contain drive arrays
It'll
and
stack?
contain mini PCIe expansion, so you can actually put cards for your data acquisition in your lab or whatever. I mean, that's the wave of the future. You're wasting all this material and this weight and this
Right.
complexity with a case that can accommodate hard drives and expansion when all you really need is
Yeah,
that thing.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree with Miriam.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to look back at this thing as a major milestone. It's going to be like, of course you do computing that way for the desktop.
My
This is
mind
the
was
logical
blown, and I
next
didn't
step.
even know it.
You're just still skeptical of this thing for
Well,
sure.
I feel like it's going to be expensive. It's not upgradable.
I don't think it's going to be 5K.
We don't know, obviously.
Because obviously it has, I mean, you're paying for the
I think it's
electronics.
gonna
You're
be
not paying for
5K.
a lot of aluminum here anymore.
No, in
think it's gonna
fact,
be
this
5K.
aluminum extrusion is not very expensive, I've been told.
I'm guessing this thing's going to be at least 4, and if it's 49, it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it's gonna be
loaded,
2.5.
loaded.
I think 2.5 entry.
2.5, I'd buy it immediately. There is no entry. There's not, I mean,
No, there's entry. There's
No,
you
there's
can buy
going to
the
be
thing with a
different
small
video cards
drive.
available for it. There's
Are
going to
there?
be different storage options.
the cards
available
are
for it.
soldered
Right,
onto
you can
there.
get it with one processor, I believe.
Exactly. And different amounts of RAM.
So it'll
there's
be
a
like
few things that can be BTO'd, as it were.
Right. All right. The other problem, of course, is you've got to get vendors to come along with Thunderbolt 2. They didn't really embrace Thunderbolt 1.
It's starting a little bit now.
Okay. Took
But people are slow
3
to
years.
People are slow. Look how long it took for USB to take off.
Right.
it didn't take long at all.
Well, I mean, the original iMac was launched at what, 98?
We still
maybe,
use
maybe on the
floppies
Mac.
for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, the Mac.
Well, the Mac started USB for everyone. And it took, what, 2 or 3 years before we started seeing a pretty good pickup in terms of USB ports
What
on
happened to
devices.
FireWire?
Well, FireWire, same thing. It took a little while before it took off
And then it died.
because Apple killed it.
Yeah. Which doesn't really encourage vendors to run and make Thunderbolt gear. I guess knowing that the Mac Pro is coming, and maybe one of the reasons Apple
There's a
for
big
Apple to
difference
say
with
this.
Thunderbolt compared to any previous interfaces. Thunderbolt is PCIe over serial connection. What it
Right.
means is that you can have an external box with a bunch of cards in it hooked up to this thing. You can have 2 video cards in an external box hooked up to this Thunderbolt port, and now you have brand new video cards.
All right. I feel better. Maybe my mind has just not, I was blown and it's just I'm not getting the information in my cerebral cortex yet.
I liked
will
your,
buy
I liked your
one.
version of it with the
Yeah, we had one
Gaffer's
with gaffer's tape.
It
I don't know
looks
what
just
happened to
like
that.
one.
We must have needed the gaffer's tape. It's behind me? Oh, there it is, John. Steve Jobs is showing it right now on the stage behind us.
so he is.
Yeah, in his
Nice.
trademark T-shirt. T-Mobile's, there you go. There's a close-up for those of you watching on video. The rest of you just will have to imagine a beautiful aluminum cylinder with an Apple logo on it. T-Mobile sends out press invites for a July 10th event, teasing its boldest moves yet.
I didn't get one.
I bet Miriam did.
I did.
Where's this event?
New York.
Oh.
New York.
You going?
We have editors in New York, so I'll
You don't
just
need to
have
go.
them. Yeah,
What do you
I'm not
think?
Xperia Z for T-Mobile?
I
Just a
like.
guess.
I think
Complete
that.
guess.
Ooh, I like the Z. The Z's big, right? It's like 5.5 inches.
5.
5.
I don't know.
Oh, that's
You
not the
think
big.
of the ZU.
The
Yeah.
ZU. I'm thinking of the Ultra.
The Ultra. Yeah.
That's the one I want. I like phablets.
Maybe that's what it is, for all we know, right? I mean,
That's a 6.5-inch screen.
Don't say phablet.
yeah. Don't say.
I
the word
coined
phablet.
the name phablet. You're telling me
Did you?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
like the guy who invented GIF. I get to say phablet.
Okay. Just you.
Okay, just
What do you
only
say,
you
p-hablet?
Phablet.
I just don't say it.
I don't say it either. It's just a large phone.
Big
whatever.
phones, small phones. Yes.
I mean, have you
used
seen
a
the
lot.
Galaxy Mega? That thing is
Unnecessary
insanely
word.
huge.
How big is the Mega?
It's 6.3 and it's insanely huge. Like if you see it in person, you'll go like, you know how you felt the first time you saw the Galaxy Note a few
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah.
You're like, this is insane. And it's exactly how it feels like. But now look, everybody's got a Galaxy Note, pretty much. Well, a lot
I
of
thought the
people.
Note 2 was fabulous. It was my
It
favorite
is fabulous.
phone.
But the point is that now we don't even question it, right? Like we see a 5-inch phone like the
Phablet.
Galaxy
Right.
S4, and
Nobody
it's like,
laughs at me anymore when I hold it to my head.
Do you remember when the original Evo came out with 4.3 inches? Everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh
Too
my God, the
big.
thing is massive.
It did
right?
feel big, didn't it? It's funny. Now it's not.
Right.
It's just
Right, you
standard.
look- If you find one right now, put it next to a Galaxy S4 and you'll
Yeah.
be amazed at how small it looks.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
But I actually noticed a sort of backlash against some of the big phones, particularly some friends. I've noticed particularly women
iPhone
friends
users?
and, well, just the inability to do things on the phone because it's so freaking huge and your hand doesn't reach to things.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some smaller flagships. There's rumors of an HTC that's going to basically be like the one, but with 4.3 inches.
I like phones that make me look slim.
Somehow we got back to phones.
I like a phones. You don't like a phones?
No, I
phones
like
is
a
a
phones.
good. This is the Galaxy Mega weighs 7 ounces. The Z is a little heavier at 7.5 ounces,
heavy.
but it's really thin. 6 millimeters. No, 7 millimeters thick. Just amazing. So have you played with this Mega?
I played with the Mega. I haven't played with ZU.
The Ultra, the ZU. And what do you think of Xperia phones in general? It seems that Sony's doing some interesting things.
I think they're certainly putting a bit of effort into design and specs, but they always seem to miss the mark in some way or another. So my mind is still not completely made up. I think the Z is very good, so hopefully the ZU will follow in those footsteps. Yeah.
And with any luck, T-Mobile will be announcing something along those lines on July 10th.
We can only hope.
I'm rooting for them.
Boldest move yet.
Yeah, that doesn't really say much, does it? Moves, plural, by the
Yeah,
way.
boldest moves. So they're going to
Our
zig
most
and
desperate
zag.
move yet.
I want them to do well. I like T-Mobile. I want them to do
I
well.
use T-Mobile. I use that $30 a month plan.
Yeah, there's if you can only get it online.
Yep.
It's very limited minutes. What is it, 100 minutes?
100 minutes of talk, unlimited data, unlimited text.
For $30.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the modern plan because nobody talks anymore.
I don't.
I don't talk.
Yeah.
I just text.
Unlimited. In fact, the unlimited data, even though they'll ratchet you down in speed,
Will they?
keep you at 4G for 5 gigabytes,
Yeah, so that's
which
good.
I've never gone over that.
Yeah.
I actually get
HSPA.
irritated when people call me on my phone now.
Yeah, I don't want to talk. Text
Yeah,
me.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you?
Texting is just asynchronous enough. It's still
Yeah.
more real time than emailing,
Yeah,
but it's still not quite synchronous, so I don't have to respond
We'll
right
tell
now.
you this: people who want to, first you need an unlocked phone. You need to get a little card from them. It costs $1, and then you get this $30 plan. And the challenge is finding the plan.
Yeah, it's buried on their online
It's
site.
buried.
Yeah. They don't want anybody to know about it.
Well,
No, of course not.
But why offer it though if you don't want anybody to use it?
I don't know why they even have it. I think it's who knows. Anyway,
It's like an Easter egg.
Good deal.
This is a T-Mobile as well, and I get great HSPA plus. But the problem is coverage is not universal. You'll go places where it's not good. And you just want to look at my pouch. You want to look into my pouch?
I'm not really interested in your pouch.
It's a nice pouch.
Yeah, I gotta go if we're going in that direction.
All right. I'll let you go. Hey, I thank everybody for being here. It was really good to have you. To our friend Matthew Ingram from his cabin on the lake. What part of what province are you in?
Ontario.
Ontario.
It's where
Are you on the big lake?
No.
The little lake.
the Ontario
A small
people
lake.
just exploit the poor folks from Alberta.
What does that mean?
It's a fact.
What? What?
All the money's in
We need
Alberta.
a-
All the money. You guys in Ontario just steal the money from the Midwest and the Western
whoa, whoa, whoa.
provinces. Yep.
We need a whole show.
Everybody knows this, by the way.
No one knows what the hell you're talking
The
about.
Canadians do.
Is it
He's
true?
actually got a point. He has.
Oh, all right. There you go. Well, enjoy your cabin on the lake.
good minute.
I hope
Thank
there's
you.
nobody in the basement. Matthew Ingram writes for GigaOM and does a damn great job. It's so nice to talk to you again, Matthew.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks also to our newbie, Miriam Jouar. So good to have you on, Miriam. I hope you'll come back many times.
I'd love to. Thanks for having me, Leo. It's
Really,
a pleasure.
really wonderful. Engadget.com. You can read Miriam's mobile reviews. And as you can tell when we talked about the phones, I mean, not only does she have very clear opinions, but I think well-justified opinions, even though we may slightly disagree.
I didn't see any disagreement.
I
You're
go back and forth on the one.
and
I
he's-
carry both.
She's HTC
I
One.
can't
and-
decide. It's like the GS4, the HTC One. That's
Yeah,
why
it's
I'm hoping
bull crap.
that a third party will come along and make me love it. Maybe the
It's pretty
Xperia,
decadent to have all these
maybe
phones,
the Motorola.
if
It's
you
my
ask me.
job. Isn't that cool?
iPhone 6.
My job.
You think the iPhone 6 will do it? I'd love
Gonna
it.
blow your mind.
I'd love it. I hope so.
I'm going for the iPhone 6.
John C. Dvorak
3D printer built in.
Will it have a 3D print? Can it print pizza and bacon? Actually, a small phone, it wouldn't do pizza, but a bacon would be fine. A little strip of bacon comes
strip.
out of the back
Yeah.
of the phone.
Yeah.
Right out of the USB.
Come right out of the pouch.
Yeah. You know what? I expect in my lifetime to have a bacon printer.
Bacon.
There's a million jokes there, and I'm not going to any of them. Forget it. I'm done.
No wrong with bacon.
NoAgendaShow.com. Check it out.
NoAgendaShow.com.
Dvorak.org/blog.
There you go. ChannelDvorak.com. Thank you for joining us. We do Twitter every Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2300 UTC on twit.tv. I love it if you watch live. You can see we respond to the chat room. We mock you. We steal your lines.
Oh, yeah. The lines are sometimes
Basically, the chat room are my writers.
Yeah. Well, they do good work.
And I never credit
Kids in
them.
the hall.
Most chat rooms are crap. This is one of the better ones.
Best chat room. You know what? This chat room's been going.
Because you throw people out left and right.
It has never stopped since 1991. This chat room has been going. No, I can't. You know that.
Yeah, they're always yakking away
Because when we
amongst
started doing
themselves.
Dvorak on Computers
If
in
there's
91, IRC.
There's no, even when there's no show on, they're still
always chatting. It is the longest running chat room in the history of mankind. I want to acknowledge that. It's just really fabulous.
Yeah. It's kind of
Thank
sick,
you.
actually.
Oh, I completely forgot all of the extra stuff that I'm supposed to do. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to let Miriam and Matthew go. We appreciate your being here. John, if you
Thank
want to
you.
play with my phone and my pouch, you keep going. Meanwhile, let's check in with Tom Merritt and see what's coming up on the week ahead. Tom?
Hey, thanks, Leo. Here's a look at what we'll be keeping an eye on in the week ahead on Tech News Today. Not a lot going on because of Independence Day holiday here in the United States. Today, Google removes all the blogger sites that monetize adult content, so check your blog. Also, Sprint killed off the iDen network, as you know. Tomorrow, Monday, July 1st, iFixit begins iLiberation Week. I think they're just calling it Liberation Week, but they're going to give away 1,776 iPhone liberation kits, so you might want to get in on that. Also tomorrow, the big day that
People throw
Google
their
Reader
iPhones
shuts down, so if you haven't exported your Google Reader stuff, you might want to get on that. And then, of course, Thursday, July 4th, Independence Day, and that is a look at the week ahead. Back to you, Leo.
Thank you, Tom. We're going to pretty much shut down the operation
What
on
happened
Thursday.
to his hair?
What? Did his hair look strange?
Yeah, I thought so.
Maybe he was wearing a Russian
It's like
hat.
a widow's peak or something. Doesn't look right. There you go.
He has hat hair.
Yes, the
Yes, the hat is back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I have a whole radio transmitter kit in this hat.
That doesn't surprise me.
Putin gave it to me.
Where'd you get that hat?
A lovely damsel from the Ukraine stopped by and gave it to me last week, and I have not taken it off since.
It's hard to say.
She swears that that it's
not sable.
That's not sable.
No,
it's fleece. Let us see, my friends. If you missed a single thing on Twit this week, you might have missed some very interesting content. Did you know that? Let's take a look.
How sad.
On Twit, frame rate.
Sony and Disney will stream movies for a fee on the internet the same day they appear in theaters as a test in South Korea.
Oh. Windows Weekly.
Paul, do you want to do it? Actually, but this is Windows with. You go for it. I'll do it like this. Don't snore. Nobody ever sees this part. That's the thing.
NSFW.
But you don't really know me, and My culture don't control me, so don't you pigeonhole me, 'cause my fears are set to stun. Oh!
Twit. I got your Bitcoin right here.
Yeah, baby. Thanks to the great Jim Cutler, our voiceover guy, our booth announcer here at the Twit Brick House. We couldn't do it without you, Jim. And he makes up those one-liners at the end, and they're just great. Who was that at the end? She was using a typewriter for percussion.
It was Miriam. Oh, I forget her last name.
She was great.
Yeah, she
What
was
a
on
beautiful voice.
NSFW last Tuesday.
That was
in
Tuesday's
studio.
NSFW.
Yes.
She sang for us. Marion Call. She's from Juneau, Alaska. And apparently she travels with a mechanical typewriter. It's cheaper than a drummer.
Is that right?
Well, listen,
I thought it was expensive.
Well, once you got one.
By the way, now's the time for people out there to start collecting mechanical typewriters.
There is a very brisk market in refurbished mechanical typewriters.
I don't mean one that you can actually use.
What? Because people aren't learning cursive, they need a mechanical typewriter?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I want to buy one.
I don't understand why you don't
here?
defend cursive.
Yeah, we have one in the front lobby.
Why would anybody defend cursive?
I don't know.
I want a restored typewriter. Oh, you know what? The show's not over until I say one key phrase.
Yes, say it.
Go Giants.
No.
Another twit is in the can. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby. Doing the twit. All right. Doing the twit, baby.
So whoever sent me these ET games didn't send any note, but they sent me some punch cards. So maybe we can decipher these and know.
Let's see. Oh,
Good thing we
two.
kept that mainframe around.
Yeah, let's run this through the IBM System 70.
The card sorter. It's over in the corner.
Yeah. Oh, this one's been spindled.
Oh gosh.
No, you're kidding.
We'll never be able to.
Wait, you've mixed them up, Leo. Which one goes where?
That was folded. This was mutilated.
Oh no.
Oh no.